than I wanted to deal with.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
It had no land with it really either, so it was a house sitting out in the open.
Yeah.
Hello, Eric.
Hi. So how's it going?
Doing?
How's everybody doing?
That's good.
I'm in Maine, Eric, but I did get your letter. So that's good.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yes, I'm actually I received 2 more pen pal letters yesterday. So it's like for every one I send out, I get 2 more, and it's like, it's not the direction I want to go.
Yeah. I've been getting a lot of letters from the people that I've been sending letters to too, and I'm getting to the point where it's like I'm trying to keep up with that, but I also am trying to send out new ones to the people that I haven't written to yet.
Yeah. Well, I understand that, I'm retired and not currently working. So I have the time. So I don't expect people to write back as quickly as I do.
Well, hopefully you won't have to wait too long for my response.
Yeah, well, for me, it's I'm starting to get letters, typewritten letters from members of this group. Plus, I'm also in another group, which is for font bin aficionados. So I get tons of letters from that group. Then I got letters from this group. So I have to kind of, it's getting to be this. Just in this week, I got 8 letters, both
Oh my goodness!
fountain pen letters and typewritten letters.
Oh wow!
What's the fountain pen group that you're a part of?
It's on nowadays. It's called the new pentrace.com.
The new pen what?
It's NEWPENTRACE.com.
Oh, cool.
You could check it out. You could type that into the chat.
Yeah, go ahead and do
yes,
that.
I will do it right now.
That would be great. I know there's an author on YouTube. I forget his name right now, but there's an author on YouTube, and he's always talking about and showing fountain pens and paper and all that. And he actually organized a pen pal group. So I thought about joining that one, but I don't know if anyone wants to see. I don't know if anyone wants to see my penmanship. So it's kind of ironic.
Yeah, you get a nice pen. And you're like, oh yes, I'm going to write so beautifully. I'm like, wait, looks like it always does.
It's kind of like with photography equipment. People are like, oh, I'm going to buy a really nice camera, and then it's gonna make me so much better.
Exactly.
Even professional photographers fall into that trap. I've done it.
Yeah.
I'm like, new camera comes out, and it's like, I want
that. Yeah. Eric, once you go to the new Pentrace site, get in and just tell them that Sid recommended the site to you, so you'll get. They're all serious pen collectors, and also ask for information about the snail mail group.
Okay.
And then Mike Waddell will email you the snail mail group. So with all the people listed and all the people who have wished to be part of the snail mail group to get in. So.
Awesome.
Hello, Ted.
Hello.
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 I can't do that.
I can.
Go.
Hello, Lynn.
Hello.
Hi, Lynn.
Hello.
I'm right now in the chat. I'm putting. I remember the name of the author and his YouTube channel. It is his name is Michael Jenks, and his channel is Writerly Witherings. So I've put that in the chat there. He's the one that has the pen pal group. Yeah, so that's another option. But I'm very curious about new Pinterest. So yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I would imagine it can get overwhelming after a while if you join too many groups.
I know.
I had to go out and get a binder for all of my letters that I've been getting.
Yeah.
From everybody.
Yeah, because you forget. And then I take pictures of everything I send, so I remember what I said.
Yeah.
I've been trying to do that too. Sometimes I forget.
Hi, Brandy. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Very good. Very good. Good to see you
Indra is
again.
outside.
Oh yeah, Indra is usually outside. Yeah. So yeah, any new typewriters, Brandy?
No, unfortunately.
No. Have you been using your typewriters this week?
No.
No? Oh, come on. No. I didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
Well, no, it's sad because that's what I want to be doing, but there's just, so much work and house stuff, and they're like all around me.
If nothing else, you can look at them.
Exactly.
I've been using only my Olympia SF because my other two typewriters both need some service work on them. So I'm just waiting for Charlie's schedule to open up, and she can catch hold of all three typewriters, give them a good cleaning and lubing, and then I can get back to using them.
Yes.
Yeah, especially my Olivetti typewriter. I think it was purchased by the parents of my friend and former professor in 1964, and since then the typewriter has not had anyone use it. So all years of accumulated dust and things on all that have to be cleaned out, and then the machine, you have to make sure that all the old grease and lubrication hasn't gunked up and cleaned out properly, and then freshly lubed and all that. And I'll be happy with it once it's done. And I would like to get a second Olympia SF because it seems to work really well for me, just in terms of its size and its ergonomics and everything. But I am absolutely flabbergasted by the prices that they're asking for now on eBay, or even on our local Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. The past two machines that I've inquired about, the people want something like $450, $500, $600 for a machine that you don't know whether it works or.
Yeah, I mean, I love the SF. Is one of my favorite typewriters, but I don't think it's worth that much. If it works really well, I could see someone paying 200, maybe 250 for it. But I mean, when you get up to like the $400 range, you're talking like Hermes typewriters. And
Well, I think what's happened is people have figured out that typewriters are a thing nowadays. So even if it's something that's been sitting in their garage or acting as a doorstop for 50 years, now they want $500 for it. And I think in this area in Michigan, people are really into buying and selling stuff. So people are sort of gone crazy about even, say, fountain pens, even old fountain pens that are totally decrepit and in bad shape. People want $400-500 for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Now,
you got to remember that it's also COVID times, and people are looking for new ways to make money.
that's
Yeah.
People out of jobs, so
that is true. Yeah. Now the SF you have, is that from the 60s or the 50s?
It's from, I got it from my neighbor. It was just sitting in their basement. They said that he bought it in 1966 new.
Okay.
So I'll just take his word for it. And
Yeah.
also the SM9, which I also got from his basement, that was purchased sometime in 1964 or 65.
Okay. So it's the two-tone
Yeah,
SF.
yeah,
Okay. Because I'm
Is
gonna
yours
think
good?
you might have a little more luck if you look at the SFs from the 50s, because they were just the one solid color, which
right.
I think makes them a little less desirable. So those
Yeah,
might be a little cheaper.
yeah, that's true. But looking around here, there are a lot of old Royals, old Remington that seem to be available in a local Craigslist, local thing, and Facebook Market and local antique shops. They tend to have those three brands are kind of more seem to be popular, but these SFs and stuff, or any Olympia for that matter, or Olivettis are hard to find here. And I have contacted a gentleman. I've also invited him to join us. He's a typewriter aficionado. He owns a antiquarian bookshop and he sells some typewriters there. So I've asked him to keep a lookout for a SF. So he should be able to find one for me.
Okay. Well,
Can
good
we
luck.
see the one that you like?
No, not yet. I've seen one because I won't say I like them because it's on Facebook Marketplace, and then
No, I mean the one that you have.
yeah, you want to see it?
Yeah.
Sure, if you have it available.
Yeah, let me get it.
Hi, Lee. How are you? You're muted, but it looks like you're doing well.
Yes, I'm doing well. Thank you.
Good,
Just
good.
mute.
Very good. Excellent. And Matthew, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm trying to fix an IBM Selectric, so.
Oh.
Well,
it turned on before and it's not turning on now, so.
Oh, okay.
It's this is what it looks
that's
like.
nice.
Thanks.
And then
Wow, that's in good condition.
yeah, it's in very good shape.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's sorry I can't. My phone's camera has died, so I can't get that to give you a better look at the picture.
It's okay. Very nice. Yeah.
So it's been a while since I've come across a new typewriter, and the other day I found one.
Really?
I wonder if anyone will recognize just from the case. I wonder if Ted would be able to tell.
I'm gonna guess it could be a brother, and it could be let's see, one of the Halberg Royals, maybe.
Nope.
That's my guess.
That's Olivetti.
I
Who
lose.
said that? Who said that?
Was that Sid?
Indro.
Oh,
It's all
Indro.
Oh yeah,
Indro, there we go.
he's got it. So it's branded as Ventura, but it's made by Olivetti in Barcelona, Spain.
Yeah.
So
you can tell by the shape.
Oh, wow.
But basically, I think it's like an Olivetti 31. From what I've been able to see online, it looks like it's the same machine, and it works great. The platen still seems to have some life in it, and it's pretty quiet compared to my other machines. So I'm really happy with it. And I've barely had to do anything to it. Even the ribbon is still good. So I was really happy to find that after not finding a machine worth getting for a number of months. So
very nice.
Yeah.
Except they're all letter of 32s after 1964. So
they are.
Oh.
all of them inside are letter of 32s. Yeah.
Okay.
Same machine, different shapes.
Yeah, it types great though. I'm really happy to have found it.
Very good.
Olivetti is the Taco Bell of typewriters.
It looks like you have an Olivetti back there behind you, Gregory. Is that a
yes? Let me make myself big here. Here we go. So this is my letter 25. My bum shoulder. So I was doing my typing prompt on this. I gotta sit this down. Yeah, I'm having shoulder troubles, but yeah. So I was doing the typing prompt on that, and it works pretty close to flawlessly, but it's just not fun to type on it. So I was reminded about that. Actually, I should have kept myself big. I was just gonna show the typing.
Showing that on Zoom.
You're big.
There we go. Yeah, so it types pretty well. The one issue it has is when it gets to the right margin, the bell happens like one character before the margin, which that's probably an easy fix actually. So I'm not going to fault it for that. What was another thing? Some of the way the letters hit the platen seems inconsistent, and that may be it may be user error. But it has a very metallic tinny sound to it, and it's not fun. So originally I was going to keep it in the collection, but I think at this point I am going to get rid of it because it's just not fun to type on, and yeah, it's going to be better off in someone else's hands.
That's how my Royal Mariner is. It kind of has a tinny sound to it, and it seems to not, just like you said, like it's inconsistent with how the type bars hit the platen. There's no adjustment for the touch, and it doesn't seem to be actually there is an adjustment for the touch, but it doesn't seem to do anything. So it
yeah, but it's one of the cleaner typewriters I own. And it helps that, well, yeah, the bottom is there's a bottom plate, and the whole thing is pretty concealed, so there's not much room for dust and dirt to get down inside. So so I think that helps it, but yeah, it's just, if it's not fun, why are you keeping it? Unless it's a super valuable typewriter like a Valentine or something.
I can attest that it's not worth keeping a Valentine just because it's worth a lot.
Oh yeah,
I am keeping one, but it doesn't mean that it's worth it. Every time I pull it out and try to use it, I'm like, yep, not worth it.
Oh yeah, that's how I feel about this one. And this one doesn't even look very nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, this one, this
Those
is
are nice.
a 33.
Yeah. I like the look of that one. Let me zoom in on
And
you real quick here.
I bought it
There we go.
because of its looks. I call it my sports car.
That's a very nice one. I love
Yeah,
the
it
look
kind of
of
looks
that.
like the DeLorean of
Yeah.
Exactly.
except it needs to have the wing things like the Hermes rocket, or is it the rocket
Oh
that
yeah,
does
yeah.
that?
But
Yeah, that's pretty
this is actually a cursive machine.
Oh, even
Um,
better.
And I don't know, it's only had one major problem. You know, I agree it's not my favorite typing feel machine, but I still won't let it go. So
Yeah. Well, at least that one, it definitely has the look going for it, as opposed to this one, where this has literally nothing going for it.
Any opinions on the 44? There's one for sale near me.
Different machine. It's a larger machine.
Yeah.
Well, okay. You can't take my word for it because I'm not a fan of the Olivetti Touch anyway. But the 44 is like stomping mud balls in a.
Okay.
It's got a very hard, mushy touch to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Not for me then.
Yeah, I briefly had one, and I fairly quickly got rid of it. The look of it, some people like the look of those, but then it just wasn't for me. I don't know. It seemed dated in a not good sort of way, and like Ted was saying, the feel is just
It's
not
an
good.
acquired taste.
Yeah.
Mine, I typed, hello, everybody, first of all.
Hi.
I typed my last week's thing with the Olivetti 44, last week's prompt.
Okay.
And see how it's kind of off. I mean, I like typing with it. It was punchy. Like every time I type on it, it punched right back. It's like that. Like typing, like he said, but it's nice, but the lettering's a little off to me.
Yeah,
Like some of the letters
hit
are
them all
hard.
really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
thanks. I don't think I'll buy it.
We saved you money.
Yes.
Excellent.
I'm still gonna keep mine. It's cute. It's just cute to look at, I guess.
Okay.
Well, I have a collection in Maine and I have a collection in Virginia. So I get up here, I'm like, oh, what do I have? Oh yeah.
I know. Huh? Now, I think you were talking about how you have the second property. I think that was before we started the stream. So how much time do you spend in Maine?
Well, obviously we have summers, but my son learning virtually this year meant we could spend more time up here. More time in the fall, and we're here now where we couldn't have been if he was in school in person. But we're actually looking at doing an online academy next year so we can be wherever we want, whenever we want. And,
excellent.
So that'll give us more options to be up here.
Okay, good. And Vitalio, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you guys?
Excellent. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
And Curry, how are you?
Curry.
Good morning. Yes. Good. Finally becoming spring here in Ontario. Hope everyone's doing well. Gregory, I didn't know I would have worn my Beatles shirt as well, but I got my Typers shirt on. So
I'm
didn't get the memo.
I'm impressed that you spotted that.
Yes. Oh, yeah, of course.
Very good. I'm in a music sort of mood. Well, I pretty much always am, but yesterday I met up with a friend from the vinyl community actually, and we went record digging. So I picked up a few things. So I'm in that frame of mind.
my Beatles vinyl collection.
Nice.
So I think I've got all of them except for Yellow Submarine, which I'm actually not really looking for because I don't particularly like it.
Well, it's a soundtrack.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know there were that many.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, some of them I have 2 copies of.
Okay.
Like this one, like Hard Day's Night, because this one's mono.
Yeah.
But and I have 2 copies of Rubber Soul. This one's the American version. This one's the UK mono. Yeah, they did come out with a lot.
Yeah.
And then I also have some of the American releases too. And then this is a it's the Silver Beatles. So this is like before they were the Beatles. And it has some of the songs that they recorded for the Decca auditions. So it's an interesting compilation. It has Pete Best instead of Ringo.
Oh yeah. I was wondering about that.
Ringo was still a caveman.
And then there's Abbey Road, which is on your shirt.
Yes. Now, do you prefer early Beatles or later Beatles?
My favorite Beatles album is Rubber Soul. So like in the middle.
Okay.
But somewhere in the middle. I like Sgt. Pepper, Rubber Soul, Revolver. But I like early Beatles too a lot. I'm not as big of a fan of Let It Be or the White Album, which I know a lot of people really love the White Album. But for me, I feel like they could have condensed that down to, like a single LP instead of the double, and it would have been probably better. But
yeah,
that's probably an unpopular opinion among most Beatles fans.
Yeah. Excellent. Now, I must confess, I'm actually a much bigger fan of the Doors, but
Yeah, I like the Doors too.
But I do enjoy the Beatles. Yeah.
Well, this is something about libraries and typewriters. I have been talking to people I know from the Ann Arbor Public Library. They have a pretty good library system, given despite the fact that we are just maybe 125,000 people in the entire community. And I'm trying to convince them that they should pull out their typewriters that they have in their storage and put at least 4 of them or 6 of them on a table in a machine and open up a room where people can go in and use the typewriters. And I think I may, and me and Charlie have offered to do the cleaning, lubrication, and all that for free. So let's see if they'll take us up on our offer.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, they have computers for where people who don't have computers can go and type up things and search the computer, do this and that. So I told them, why don't you put the typewriters and then you can maybe have a writing class or memoir writing class or something or the other, and get the people to use the typewriters to type out their whatever they produce, and have them use carbon paper, and so that you can keep the original and let the people take the carbon copy.
Yeah, very good.
So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I even asked the university librarian, they just rejected my idea out of hand.
Oh.
They're like, now, people that go to the University of Michigan are rich people, so they can buy their own typewriters.
Yeah.
I know some libraries have a things library. I don't know, Gregory, whether yours does.
Library,
where you can go and borrow like tools and different things. So, but I mean, I got started collecting last February just before COVID, so I haven't had the chance to sort of go and explore whether our libraries would have a typewriter or would accept a contributed typewriter for the things library. But I imagine it's tough right now to, for libraries to want to be able to like offer things like that or put stuff out like for public, use for typewriters, because then it's one other point that they have to clean all the time, right? So
yeah,
you'd have to sanitize it after every use, and I don't know how those Lysol wipes or whatever would maybe wreak havoc on these old tops and stuff. So I don't
Well,
know.
actually, at our library, we actually have a quarantine. So when things get returned, originally we were doing like a 9-day quarantine, but then through more research, they realized that the possibility of the virus being transferred through objects such as books is actually pretty low. So we lowered our quarantine to 4 days now. So it kind of goes through that process. But most of the libraries, I think, are still in the sort of curbside mode. So it's still possible because they would be able to request the typewriter and then they would go and pick it up curbside. And so I love that idea, and I think you should really look into doing that because I think that would catch on like wildfire. And I think people would love it. So especially now that people are becoming aware of typewriters again. So yeah.
Yeah, in our library system, they're not allowing people to borrow the things other than books and DVDs and CDs for music. Those are the only things that are lent out. All the things for the borrowing tools, or those ones are all not available now.
Okay.
So only books and music CDs and DVDs and video cassettes are available.
Okay. It's probably for the best, but it's not going to be long before things open up even more. So
yeah.
The library still has video cassettes that they're lending out.
Yeah.
Retro library. I guess they could lend out stuff like typewriters and other.
Yeah.
There you go.
Borrow a pager.
I recently checked out, maybe about 2 months back, where I checked out Amadeus, the movie, on VHS.
Oh man. I'll admit I have a VCR hooked up. I use it once in a while. I have some old TV shows like The Avengers. I have a bunch of them on VHS, and it's the British Avengers, not the superheroes. It's like a kind of like a espionage mystery show. So yeah, but I have those on VHS and a bunch of music related VHS.
I got the entire Buffy series on VHS, but I don't have a VHS player anymore that works. I don't think so.
You can pick them up dirt cheap.
That's true. Or I could just watch it on Netflix. So
there you go.
And I can send you a DVD/VHS machine if you want to.
We've probably got one down in the basement somewhere. It's just not hooked up.
I think there's still one in everyone's house.
Exactly. Yeah.
I even
somewhere.
have a Betamax machine.
Oh, now Beta. That's another.
I never did Beta. No.
Oh. Sean, how are you?
Good, guys. How are you? Happy Sunday morning. I've been excited about this all week. It's become the highlight of my week.
Very good.
To come and join you guys. So, as you can see, I got my Oliver out here, so I'm fighting for screen space, but that's okay. As long as you can see this part up, then I think that's all that's really necessary.
Important part.
The important part.
Yeah. It's like what was that show? Home Improvement that had the neighbor that they only showed him.
Oh yeah.
Wilson.
Hey, guys. Wilson, yes, Wilson. Yeah, no, it's good. It's snowing here again, so we're back in the winter after being like 18 or 20, which is, I don't know, nice in Fahrenheit, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I feel okay being back in the basement to talk to you guys while it's snowing.
Excellent.
Don't send it this way. Usually, whatever Alberta has, Ontario gets it in a couple of days. So this past
scheduled
week.
it for Wednesday.
That's it.
Curry.
Well, we are 36 degrees, warm and sunny. So I bet if you went on campus, you'll find people breaking out their flip-flops and t-shirts and shorts.
Yeah, Michigan's a lot like Canada in that way. Like as long as it's like above zero, a couple degrees, we will wear shorts here. No problem.
Same here. I've seen people shoveling snow in their shorts in New Hampshire.
Yeah, it feels really good. It's a rewarding feeling with your skin feeling like that.
Wow.
What's going on with the Oliver that you have it out?
This is my other number 9. This is a London sold one, and it's not in as good condition as my other Oliver. So after I took my other one out and took pictures of it and posted it a few days ago, I thought I'd bring this one out and just sort of compare and see what I need to do to make adjustments to this one. It types well, but like all Olivers, they've all gone through a certain amount of abuse over their lifetime. And so I was just fiddling with it and sort of learning it because it's a completely different machine than any normal typewriter. Like everything is in different spots. The design's completely differently. It's hugely interesting. Like I stare at it and just like I'm just amazed at how they put this thing together. Like, oh my God, it's so awkward. Like just pushing back on your this is your return lever really is the actual knob. And when it goes back, it automatically at the end turns to the next line.
Wow.
As opposed to using a return lever. So it's sort of weird. And I'm always fiddling, like trying to figure out where to go and how do I get the carriage back again? And, oh yeah, right there it is. Yeah, it's really fun though. But yeah, I just sort of took it out yesterday and started fiddling with it and poking at it and that kind of stuff. And yeah, I just re-engaged, right? Every time you bring a typewriter out, you're re-engaged with it. So I like it that way.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, pressing on the knob for the carriage return, that almost makes more sense.
Yeah, it does everything, and that just switch to line.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a weird system, but it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to give you a walkthrough of all the other weird spots because, like, I had to figure out how to set even the margins.
Oh.
Like the margins there's nothing on the back here where you set the margins like you would on a regular typewriter. There's this bar down here which you have to push back and forth, and that sets the margins. And then that's how this interacts with that. And oh my God, it's just it's like starting all over in typewriters again, when you didn't know anything, and you're like, oh, what is this? What does it do? Yeah.
Sean, do you find a lot of documentation available, like old, manuals or anything, since they're so old?
Oh yeah, you know what? Like Richard Polk's got probably the best collection of manuals online, so I find the majority of them there, unless it's a really, really weird typewriter, like the Oliver. Actually, I found the oiling instructions because every Oliver says on the front, "Keep machine cleaned and oiled," and so I thought, well, I wonder where the heck the oiling thing is, and it wasn't on Richard's site, but it was somewhere else, and it was the full oiling diagram, like scanned. So. If you can read that, because we're not as smart as they were 100 years ago anymore. We need pictures, right? They just had all this writing and you're like, oh, you're trying to understand what they're getting at. Anyway, yeah, so everything seems to be out there, unless it's a really, really weird typewriter. Like the manual for the Oliver 9 is on Xavier, the Richard Polt's website. And that helped me find the margin releases because I was like, I don't even know where to go. So, yeah, I do find most of them are out there.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. It's good to know.
Yep.
Bob, how are you?
On mute.
Did you say some guy named Bob?
Yeah.
Good to see you, Gregory. Sean, I appreciate all the info regarding the Olivers. I tell you, I got one I get to rebuild here soon enough.
You'll love it.
And I just don't have a freaking clue. So it'll be really fun to figure out. I've never really gotten to play with one. And it's neat how many I love the little pencil holders on there. I know Lucas Dahl has the pencil holders for sale, I think on his website or maybe over on eBay as well. I forget. But anywho, yeah, there's definitely some good stuff with that. I'm good. Boy, I agree with what Sean said. This is kind of the fun Sunday morning thing to do. Kind of makes the week work out well.
Excellent.
Repair's been really busy here, which has been fun. I have a new product that I've invented. I love saying I invent stuff when I put stuff together for the typing community. I've invented something or just made it better, but regardless, I'll be coming out with that in about a week. I gotta get some labels for the product, so that'll be a lot of fun. I've run out of the covers that I did, and apparently I had one supplier, and they were really excited to do a lot of business, but they couldn't do it. So I looked around, and luckily I found another supplier, and I thought they could, give me these covers. They're very rare, they're this jewel soft cover, and it looks like they're back ordered till June, and I don't know the origin. Yeah, so I might have to wait till the middle of June to get the actual covers that I want. So that's a little disappointing. What I do have option for is the covers in different colors. So it doesn't sound like a big deal, but I'm thinking, well, okay, what colors would make sense? And I reckon different people have different colors in their homes, right? So I'm gonna try that because, for lack of a better term, they sell like hotcakes. I mean, I'm very fortunate, The few weeks I had them on sale, every day I came home, I was selling several of them every day, which was really nice because I know it was a product I needed, and I know people like Kerr or whatever ordered a whole bunch, and that was quite the blessing. And she took great pictures of all her machines covered in them.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. So if you hear anybody talking about it, the answer is I'm working really hard to get another supply of these jewels, and they try to sell me a velour terry, which I don't think would be bad, but I think there'd be one machine out there that has a very soft paint, or it would scratch something, and I'm just not interested in that. These jewel soft towels, they cost like 3 times as much as a terry velour, but I think they're worth it, just to know that my own peace of mind, knowing they'll never scratch the top of a machine, so
yeah,
so that's been a lot of fun. Repair has really been happening. I've been working real hard. I need to find a way to take a vacation soon. I've got a few good motorcycle camp out trips planned, but those are always fun. I love being that guy in the campground with a typewriter. It's great to wake up at 6 a.m. when everyone's still half drunk and asleep and start typing away. That's one of my favorite things to do. I think though I'm going to start reaching out to people. I'm going to find a way to spend a week or two hanging out here and hanging out there and see what I can learn from other typewriter repair people. The actual work of repairing the typewriter is a lot of, it feels like arts and crafts to me compared to wrenching on a motorcycle. I used to say the same about motorcycles, but with motorcycles, if you're wrong, somebody could die. So it's very important to get it right. With typewriters, if you're wrong, it could be unfortunate. But it hasn't happened yet to me, so I'm really enjoying that. I'm more interested in the business aspect and how other people run their typewriter businesses. So I'm gonna reach out and find someone to apprentice under, maybe several. I think it'd be fun to spend several days at a shop here or a shop there, and just see how the old boys do it, for lack of a better term.
So, well, hurry up. There's not many old boys left.
I know, huh?
Thank you. Exactly. No, I think that'll be a big theme. Curry, you just opened up a conglomerate for yourself. Was that correct?
Yes. Well, I had earlier. I come from the aviation industry, so first thing I did was I started my own aviation consulting business. But that's, I was hoping by now aviation would be, at least in Canada, would be recovering. And down in the States, you guys, it just seems like a normal day, but here in Canada, it's not getting any better. So I thought, I got to do something to generate some revenue here. So let's jump on this typewriter business bandwagon. And like you say, Bob, maybe we need to get a group together to just sort of, all those of us that are running these businesses, like Tampa Typewriter and Lazy Dog and all that kind of stuff, and share ideas, because it's not like we're really that much in competition with each other. We're all kind of, we're kind of going to be the next thing in our area. And like you say, there's only 2 kind of old guys that I know that are close by to me that are still repairing typewriters. So yeah, it's kind of something that you need to get on, and how much of their knowledge and skill can you absorb before you kind of got to take over. Yeah, there's definitely seems to be growing demand just in the last 14 months that I've been collecting. And so yeah, hopefully, kind of we can each do our own thing, and for the greater good of the whole typewriter community, but then also locally that I'm sure more and more people will be looking for people to repair their typewriters. So
well, you're absolutely right. It used to be there was a typewriter repair shop on every corner because everybody had them. So there was a lot of competition, I think, and there was a big difference between the good people and the bad people. I'm sorry, people who were good at repairing typewriters and people who just repaired typewriters so they could go home at night, for lack of a better term.
There you go.
I think good for you coming from the aviation industry. That gives you a huge step up. They're not as cool as motorcycles, these airplanes, but I totally get on. An airplane, boy, that's something. I mean, you fix that incorrectly, you're going to have a lot of issue. And you said it right. There is no competition. So I know there's not a week that goes by where like Lucas and I don't have a chat. And that's fun too, because he wants to message it all out. And I'm like, pick up the phone. We're going to talk this out. Let's pretend it's 1989, that type of thing. So, and that's been a lot of fun because he'll ask me a question and I'll go, here's the answer, right? And usually it's him looking for parts. And my first answer is, well, have you checked with Dwayne? Dwayne is so well organized and has such a great system. I don't feel bad calling him for a $10 or $20 part because he just turns around, grabs it, throws it in an envelope and mails it off to me, that type of thing. So I think there is going to be a lot of that, and there is no competition. And I know my buddy Aaron, for example, in LA, he's got his own conglomerate, and him and I are always moving machines back and forth. And I get real excited if I sell a machine for him and make him, $100 to whatever, make him some money. And he does the same for me. And he's just in LA, and LA to Riverside. I know it sounds like it's real close, but with traffic, sometimes it can be an hour and a half. They try to say Riverside is like a suburb of Los Angeles, but it really isn't. It's a whole other market. And there are repair guys between here and there. And I think there's going to be a lot of printer guys who are doing typewriters that really don't want to, maybe. And they're used to working on printers that are working all the time, that are hauling butt all the time. But printers have gotten better simply because the rubber's gotten better. Viton and all those other cool things that rubber has come out with. I enjoy that. I enjoy when I replace rubber in an old portable typewriter. I know that it's going to be better than the original. I know that sounds pompous, but it's a much better quality that we have in product today. So I think you're right, Curry. I had mentioned to Gregory a month or two ago, I said, I need a 24-hour format where I can jump online and there are other technicians at midnight wrenching on typewriters so I can chat and ask questions with. And Gregory was like, you're crazy. I wouldn't know how to host that. That's what he said. He didn't say I was crazy. He just said, I wouldn't know how to host that. But, if we had Typewriter Live 24 hours a day, how would it work out for us? But obviously that's not gonna work. But always feel free to reach out. And I've learned it is nice to, even if you need a second opinion, there's a lot of that. I've been real busy with platens lately, for example, and really tuning in when to do what to what kind of platen, when to recover it and when to be okay. This one's from a 1927 Underwood, for example. Can you guys see the lines on that sucker?
No,
I guess not, huh?
Not quite.
This thing has these lines every, and it's from my process of sanding it to knock down any ridges and kind of tighten up the grain. But what do? The lines are quite visible in the light, but the answer is I'm going to leave it. It's going to be okay. Because the durometer is still at like 92% or something. So I think it'll work. I think it'll work real well. So I'm really excited just to leave it. And so what? It's got these funky lines on it. Boy, I wish. Anyways, when you look at platens in the light, how do they look, for example? So that's a topic of discussion. When is refinishing, recovering a platen too much? This one's from a Hermes baby, and I recovered this one. Yeah, you can't see that at all. So anyways, but yeah, this one has a whole new covering on it. And it feels
Bob,
pretty darn good.
Are you making some decent profit with all your repairs and your inventions and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's worth my time. It's hard, you know, as a mechanic that I am, and I always have to remind people the difference between mechanics, technicians, workers. You know, a mechanic does everything. A mechanic is an engineer. He is a worker. He is, you know, the wrencher. He is the one who can rebuild anything, make anything. And so I work very hard to make sure I always deserve the title mechanic. And it says so on my badge from the US government that I'm a mechanic. So I'm expected to do anything, whatever it may be. And again, I do mostly security, locksmith stuff for the county here locally. So, but I'm downtown, I take care of all the big buildings. I park next to politicians. It's kind of a big deal. And I really take a lot of pride in it. And I'm very fortunate to get to work that. So I have to remind people that I have to remind myself that as a mechanic, I get to do everything. And I keep rocking it and do everything. The new way, of course, is technician. You've got a service writer who hands the work to a technician that specializes in the area of that, because that's the fastest and easiest way to make money. So is it worth it to me? Yes, I think so. I think it will be in the long run. Am I making money now? Yeah, and I'm having a good time. I'm not making the kind of money I usually do. My department bills $100 an hour for my services. So I'm not making that kind of money. However, I'm getting pretty close.
Yeah, and reason I ask, sorry, I'm not an unabashed capitalist in that way, where I'm really mercenary enough to care about the money, because that's really not what it's all about. I only wondered just to make sure, you know, you don't turn it into a job so much that it becomes a job that you need to get away from that after your actual job, because that's one of the dangers. But the second thing is, you know, then maybe you can get a new camera at some point that will show us the lines on the platen, and then I'm just joking.
Canadians, I love it. I need to go hang out in Canada more often. I've only been there once.
Well, you know what? You've got beautiful hair, by the way. And you know, I just wanted to say, now that we see it out, you must use herbal essences, but it looks lovely. Yeah.
I get it from the 99-cent store.
Oh yeah, it looks good.
Well, no, as far as because I'm working out of my home, and I do it no different than I did. I used to have an amp and guitar repair conglomerate 20 years ago. I had that local shop here in town, and I learned in that shop that a lot of people did pickup and delivery. I employed 2.5 delivery guys who went all over Southern California picking up and dropping off amps and guitars, right? So typewriters are really not that much different than amps and guitars. They're owned and operated by passionate people who want to use them a lot. It's not something you can just fix and get out the door. You have to understand that a person with a passion, a creativity is going to be using this machine. So I angle very hard on that. I charge the same now that I did 25 years ago on guitars and amps, and I'm okay with that. So I'm charging $60 an hour. If I charge an hour, chances are it takes me an hour and a quarter, hour and 15 minutes. So if I charge 3 hours on a unit, I've probably spent 4 hours on it. You know, so these things just take time, and I'm not too worried about getting fast at something. People are more than happy to pay it. Like I said, this platinum's from a 1927 Underwood. The lady's real excited. It was her grandmother's, you know, and when I called her with the price, she was like, that's excellent. That's amazing. I thought it'd be much more expensive. Thank you very much. So I think there's always that up and down in exchange. But I know Bill, Mesa Typewriter Exchange, he's got the brick and mortar. He's got a wonderful looking business on a main street there in Mesa. And he's only charging $50 an hour. So I think it really depends on where you are. Here, I think if I had a brick and mortar, I'd have to do 80 or 100 an hour. And that would be going rate for that type of service here in Southern California. But I'm excited just to keep it out of my house. I'm a little inconvenient, but I'm just as inconvenient as if I had a brick and mortar and you were out of the area. So that's what works for me.
Excellent.
Well,
Hey,
if I might just ask Bob a question. Bob, I was talking to one of my neighbors who's a professor of material science at the university. And I was talking to him about platens and how it's kind of difficult to get new platens and all that kind of thing. And then he says, well, you know, the material that they used to manufacture the wheels that go onto inline skates, that material, he says, you know, that kind of material, you can get any sort of thickness, any kind of hardness and all that. So, you know, and manufacturing that kind of thing in the shape of a platen, which you can install as a new thing, should be pretty easy to do and pretty cheap. So he said that might be one avenue to look at.
Yeah, I think that's what the turbo platen guy is doing. There's a guy, I know he moves his stuff on eBay too, but you can send him your platen and he recovers it in something like that, which I
He
think
uses
is very
PVC
exciting.
pipe.
Oh, it's PVC?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And inline skates are made from polyurethane.
Mm. Yeah, big difference. Yeah, you're right.
So is that not good?
No, I use polyurethane for typewriter feet. It just doesn't normally come in like tubes like PVC. See, turbo platen guy, he just buys PVC pipe in the right size, and basically cuts it into things, strips the rubber off the core, and jams that core onto the PVC pipe. That's why he has to paint the core, because the PVC pipe is clear.
Right.
So in order to give it color, he has to paint the core and then put the PVC over the top of it. So.
And then what, you're typing on the PVC? Does the PVC have enough give?
Oh yeah, it's a soft PVC. PVC comes in different hardnesses. So.
Sure. So he's getting like an 85 gamma.
And so I mean, it seems like an easy enough process. He seems to have it nailed down pretty good. He's got a supplier and everything.
Right.
But I'm not sure if he grinds down the platens, because I mean, you'd need several different diameters to do that. So, like, what are you measuring right there?
Yeah,
is that Underwood?
No, this one's for the Hermes baby. So the answer is what, 2 1/4 or 1? No, 1 and I'm just trying to see.
Mm-hmm. On a 3000, it's supposed to be 32 millimeters.
So this one covered, I got 32.8. And you know what? I remember that. I looked that up on your, I looked it up on the Great Reverend something or other somewhere. But yeah. Yeah, this one's 32.6. So this one's still in tolerance. I was able to work down 0.5 millimeter and then cover it and make up the other 0.5 millimeter, right?
Yeah.
And obviously that's very important for the rollers. Otherwise, you really got to tweak the rollers out of whack.
That and your ring and cylinder.
Right. I think that makes a lot of sense. We're very fortunate. Have I mentioned lately, guys, how fortunate we are to have Reverend Monk, who wrote all this stuff down once upon a time? I have the typewriter database, but also his blog. There's so much information in there on how this stuff all works. Ted, I thank you for being you. I don't know how else to say that.
Well, yeah, I can echo what Bob is saying. And you know what, the funny thing is, like, for example, I'm very religious about making sure that people call them typefaces. And then after months and years of calling them typefaces, I just happened to say fonts last week right in front of Ted and got quickly scolded and corrected and realized even when you know what you're talking about, there's always some time that you need to get put back on the straight and narrow. So thank you, Reverend.
Curry's smiling like crazy right now.
Get the shirt now.
Curry has a shirt for that.
We're allowed to make the shameless plug, willowcreektypewriters.com.
Put the link in the chat.
Well, I think we're very fortunate. I think there is going to be a big division line. There's a lot of people doing a lot of work by themselves. We're going to be fortunate enough to have people like myself, similar to myself, pop up who will answer or have resolution. You know, as a mechanic, you're not paid to fix the problem. You're paid to take on someone else's problem as your own. And that, at the end of the day, that's what I get paid for. The customer has a problem. I've taken on the problem as my own. And I believe my knowledge and my skill will present a solution that I can charge a rate for, right? At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. So I think there'll be a lot of that. And I'm real interested in the aspect of how much people can do at home with their machines without having to visit people like me. And if they have to visit people like me, so be it. So it's all going to be a win-win for anybody who's actually wrenching on typewriters. But coming up with hard solutions for the platens, for the rollers, you know, whatever. The other day I had a roller and I had to cover it in half. It was the hoses that I have was half a millimeter off, so I had to cover the roller in a bit of heat shrink tubing just so the hose would fit on there nice and tight, so it's all good to go. And just in case, I gave it a nice little dab of silicone, right? So, well, a hard RTV anyways. So these are all things. How do we make it all work? I think JJ Short, we're very fortunate to have him around, but about half the time there are other solutions. So,
hey Bob.
Yeah.
So, and forgive me up front for not knowing more about your business in general, but you know, how much opportunity do you see for kind of a hybrid model where we've got the local on-site presence, dealing with platens, this and that, versus the people at home who can't really do it 100% by themselves, me, but I have some skill, I can learn. If I have a little bit of coaching and training and guidance, I can probably do some things, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, the local walk in here, take my typewriter and fix it versus like online consulting, you know, for a per hour fee for someone more like me and someone who doesn't live in proximity to you.
Yeah. Right. Well, I hope in the near future that there's someone that pops up near you. Where do you live? I'm sorry.
Well, I'm in Dallas, Texas, and there's one shop that I haven't been to, and then there's a retired typewriter repairman that I've been to several times, and probably wants me to forget his address. But there are some things I just don't feel like he can handle. I just don't think his home workshop is set up for that. Sure. And I just simply haven't been to the other shop because it's, 50 miles away and, life happens. So, but just sometimes I know I look at a problem and I just know I could do this. I mean, I have the instructions, I have a monk book, this and that. I just need, an hour's worth of an expert's time to say, oh, here's what you're not getting.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You need permission to make mistakes. That's really the thing, is mustering up that courage. Even if you do make a mistake, you can always go back and correct it. It's not, when you make a mistake adjusting a machine, you can readjust it. It's not a big deal. Giving yourself that permission to make those mistakes or to try is really 90% of typewriter repair.
You're here.
That's pretty much it.
And we as a society are really set that A equals B and B equals C, but that isn't how mechanical device. There's only two types of mechanical devices, and that is those that have failed and those that are going to fail. That's it. So be good to yourself. It's okay. Yeah, mechanical devices are made to fail. There's nothing to be done about it. So if you spend months wrenching on a typewriter that's sitting in the corner trying to get it all figured out, you're okay. Welcome to the club.
Yeah. Or years in some case.
Yeah, right. This is okay. Yeah, give yourself permission. And I suspect in the future there will be younger people who jump up in places, like Dallas, that have the ability to do that, and they'll probably be big Bonnie and Clyde fans who hang out in West Dallas or so, who knows, right? I mean, I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of Texas, of course. I had a girlfriend there for many years in Austin, so I hopped up to Dallas, you know, in the middle of the night when the 35 wasn't so congested, things like that. So I've gotten to hang out there a bit, but I think there's going to be that insurgence of people who see it as an honest living and have the ability to just grab it from you. Because a lot of people, we've learned, when I tell someone it's going to be $200 to fix your machine, they scratch their heads and go, that makes total sense, because I just spent $300 to get my cell phone fixed, right? So how are you willing to relate it? And these are things we have to bestow back in the minds of Americans, people in general. I say Americans because I live in America, but we've lost that track, and we've become such a disposable society. But I think there's newer is not always better. A lot of younger generational people are grasping onto that, and I think that Ted is absolutely right, Brandy. Give yourself permission to make the mistakes, and eventually you'll get it, or eventually you'll find a repair guy that's nearby, and you're not going to mind handing him $100 or $200 or whatever. I've got friends I talk with in the typosphere all the time, and they are not my customers. They would never dream of handing out $200 to repair a machine when they can go get another one that may or may not work for 50, 60 bucks. So, and I've had to tell them, look, you guys are awesome, but you're not my customers. You know, my customer is someone who wants a typewriter. They want it to work. They see it as a business machine for their writing. Because being in Southern California, it's true. Most of my customers are writers or actors or famous people, right? So I've had to embrace that too. How do I work for famous people? It's worked very well. I did quite a bit of that when I did amp and guitar repair, because everybody in Southern California is a rock star when it comes to amp and guitar repair. So anywho, I've done just fine in that regard. So yeah, like Ted said, give yourself permission to make the mistakes and give yourself time. It's okay.
And I would definitely recommend to subscribe to Phoenix Typewriter and what's the other one? Typewriter Justice on YouTube.
I watched them.
They have all these tutorials, and it's just, each video is like one little problem with its solution, so definitely subscribe to those channels and just watch them and learn, and they're wonderful. So, and hopefully I know Bob on our behalf has been trying to get Dwayne Jensen from Phoenix Typewriter on here. Hopefully one day he'll join us, but for now, we have his YouTube videos to watch and enjoy and learn from. So
yeah, Dwayne is very much like neighbor Wilson. He's not interested in being the center of attention in that regard. He really enjoys his work and what he does, and there's a lot of truth to that. I think it all stems from, I want to say, attitude. The attitude of the consumer. Obviously, we know we can't ever change the attitude of the consumer, people in general. But I'm very thankful for Joe Van Cleve's videos for that regard. I think it really sets the attitude for the average human being. And I know I can call Joe my friend. I think he's on here somewhere, isn't he? I can call him my friend because I hung out with him and his wife. And I'm very serious. His wife is much cooler than he is, but yeah. But yeah, there you got to set that attitude first of when to do this and when to do that. When a machine works for you, when it doesn't. And if a machine isn't working all the way, I've got machines, the backspace doesn't work. I don't care. I rarely use the backspace. The tab doesn't work. I don't care. I'm just writing stream of conscious stuff. These things are okay, right? The margins don't. I don't care. So don't ever be afraid to. It's kind of like driving a car when the air conditioning doesn't work, but it's the middle of winter, so who cares? So these are great ideologies on if everything doesn't work on the machine, doesn't mean it's a bad machine. It just means that particular little itty bitty part inside the machine isn't happy for one reason or another. So there's a lot of excitement in the future when it comes to writers need to use typewriters now. Professional writers, they're tired of their stuff getting stolen off Google. They're tired of Microsoft, whatever. So they're really going back to type. I was at the optometrist this week. Oh, that's what I meant to share. I'm at the optometrist this week, and the lady says, okay, well, what are your hobbies? I said, well, I do locks for a living, but my hobbies are typewriters. She goes, okay, we're going to set your glasses for here. And then the optometrist comes in and she goes, typewriters? I said, yeah, like manual typewriters. And she goes, do people still use those? I go, yeah, people who, you're on a computer screen for 8 hours a day, you come home, you don't want to look at another computer screen to write. You want to look at a typewriter. It's much easier on your eyes. He goes, oh my gosh, you're so correct. Like I've never, yeah. And she's an optometrist, but she had never, nobody had ever put it to her in that regard. So she's excited she's like, well, I need to tell people to use typewriters, not computers. Yes, you do. So, well, and that was the old Little Caesars around the corner here, Gregory, that I went to. So I was there and I love it. I've only been there 2 or 3 times. They're like, how's your day? I'm like, well, for some reason, I really feel like I need a pizza right now. Do you have a pizza here? I'd really, yeah. In town here, they turned the old Little Caesars into a optometrist. So I think there's a lot of that in the future. Some people don't have eye issues. I do. It's just a degenerating thing. So that's been hard in working on typewriters, but I got a new prescription. I'll have my new glasses in a week, so that should
very good.
Assist me. So anyway,
I see a glow forge.
I'm guessing Lay is showing us
yeah,
cutting.
What is it?
Something.
It's a glow forge. It's a
laser cutter.
Laser cutter.
Yes. I thought you guys, I don't know if you'd be interested in seeing that or not, but I was just doing some cuts, making some backs for my magnets, and I thought I would show you. I've got a remote monitor on it so I can watch it from upstairs.
Nice.
In case it catches fire. So, yeah.
That's cool.
Has that happened before?
Not on mine, not yet.
Okay.
But yeah. So, and I don't know how to unshare it. Let's see if I can figure out how to do that.
Sorry, I had to ask what it was because I live in 1952 with typewriters, so this is way too modern.
It's a laser.
A laser, like in the comic book.
Laser. Yeah. Well, I don't know how to turn it off. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Stop share. There. All right. All right. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
The technology.
Yes.
Technology. What's that all about?
Science fiction.
With what Bob was saying, I think what I'm sort of seeing, at least in our area, a lot of people, both young and old, seem to have figured out that there is some utility and some value to preserving older things like typewriters or things like that. And for example, yesterday I was at the local cobbler's place. He's gotten 2 young men, maybe in the mid-20s, who are learning the trade with him, and he's getting so much work for people to repair their shoes, which is what they used to do in the old days. And similarly, the person who repairs old manual cameras, he's doing really well with a lot of people bringing in stuff to get repaired and so on. So if we had a person like, say, Bob, set up shop here somewhere, I think he would be very happy. And people are getting into that, and the tailors getting a lot of work with people bringing in their things to be repaired or refurbished, and that kind of thing, and is happening all over society. At least in, maybe it's because it's a university town with a major university, but I would think that it's happening all over Metro Detroit.
Yeah.
I did a photography series in college of craftsmen in New Hampshire, where I'm just like photographing people that working with their hands. Like I photographed a clockmaker, like a guy that he repairs clocks, and I photographed a blacksmith and some shoe cobblers and
Interesting.
people like that, and that was a fun series, and I should maybe revisit that and
turn it into a
find
book.
somebody that does typewriters. Yeah.
Eric, since you're a photographer, you'd be interested in knowing my next door neighbor is Howard Bond. He was the guy who printed Ansel Adams' original pictures, which made Ansel Adams famous. So Howard,
wow, that's cool.
he's now an old gentleman. He's about maybe pushing 90.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting.
I go and hang out in his dark room now and then.
Excellent. Hi, Joe. How are you?
I am doing fine, everybody. How are you guys doing?
Very good. Very good.
Good. Well, so I have this calendar that I made a year ago. It was a 2020 typewriter calendar, and it had a bunch of nice pictures of my typewriter collection and some of Kevin's. And I was too lazy to print these up again this year. So what I've been doing is just typing up new calendars, right? And so I forgot to do April's. So now I'm doing May's. And the nice thing is you want to use a Type R Electric for this because you have that auto repeat capability on the dashes and a lot of the symbols and the space bar especially. So just in the time that I've been online here and of course eating breakfast as well, I got a calendar sheet typed up already. So there I am.
Very good. One for May and not for me.
Well, yeah, I might do one for you, Ted, also. But it's M-A-Y, not M-E-I. Anyways. Well, so how is everybody? It's been fun hearing the discussion. It was a lot of fun, interesting earlier listening to Bob talk about, the transition he made from, like guitar repair and that kind of musician clients to typewriters. It sounds like there's a lot of commonality, a lot of overlap in the sense of creative people and, their relationship to their tools and the way that, the cost structure of the tools and repairing them and they're, portable, you can move them around and all that. There's a lot of similarities there, I think. So
yeah.
I really appreciate what Bob had to say.
Yeah, we really need to get Bob to come out of his shell.
He really does need to lighten up a little bit,
Maybe I should do a podcast. What do you think?
Maybe.
You should.
Yeah.
Something with Austin, something or other,
Yeah,
the ATI. Yeah, if people hadn't heard, ATI was real gracious enough to add me as their third guy. So
that's awesome.
We're going to be doing a lot more podcasts here in the near future, which I think is very important. Obviously, I'm a huge podcast fan. I tinkle.
Yes, you do.
I give up. Oh, for crying out loud. There's nothing I enjoy more than turning on a podcast and wrenching on a typewriter.
There you go.
Audiobook, so.
Did we say twinkle or tinkle?
He said both.
I think he said both.
Tinker. Tinker.
Oh, tinker. That's tinker.
Yeah,
if you twinkle while you tinkle, there's a poem there somehow. I don't know.
Probably all those.
It's a limerick.
Limerick, yes.
Rust on your typewriter. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways. Well, maybe you guys could do a Southern California podcast also, for a Riverside podcast, right? You and Gregory and.
Yeah, no, that was the idea. And Austin, David Torres, and Everett, they're very interested in making sure they can reach the entire nation. And I agree with them. They're in the center of the country. And Austin, even though their weather's real crappy in the summertime, it's one heck of a place. So I'm really excited to be a member of that. Eventually, we hope to get an East Coast representative as well.
Nice.
And because it will reach out to that local. I'm excited to have guests on the show that are, from all over the place, and I can do a phone call real easily. It's very easy being the host of anything, of a podcast. It's no different than being mayor. My biggest job is to shut the hell up and let them share. So that gets pretty easy. I just, if I want to say something, I come back in and edit it in.
There you go.
Okay. But I have a whole studio in my house. I have the whole computer. I have the whole setup. I have, a bunch of gear I plug into my computer, and that's how I make the shows. But anyone who has a Zoom or anyone who can do it with a cell phone, we're very much looking for an East Coast representative, to put out a good show. And there is that American ideology that we are capturing what typewriters are in time for us here in this country. I've got a few guests lined up though that are not from America, are not from the United States. So that'll be very exciting.
Very good.
Yeah, to see how that turns out. But yeah, wrenching on typewriters and listening to podcasts, it's a thing. It's very. My favorite is when I go to test a machine, I don't have to think about what to say. I just start typing the words that are coming out of my phone. It's very easy. So nothing to worry about.
All right, I do have to welcome a new face. We have Kelsey Artmugi with us.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Love your last name.
Oh, yeah.
I know. It's original.
Yeah. Not really my last name, but yeah.
So since you are new, would you like to briefly introduce yourself?
Sure. What do you want to know? Just how I got started, or
whereabouts do you live, first of all?
I'm in Vancouver, Washington.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Excellent.
Yeah. Yep.
And when and how did you get started with typewriters?
When I was a kid, we had a typewriter in our basement that was fun to play with. Unfortunately, it's long gone by now, but my oldest daughter really enjoyed the idea of a typewriter. So we got one probably about 15 years ago. It was a Smith Corona Classic 12.
Oh,
but
nice.
Yeah, but I didn't really know what to do with it or how to fix it up. And it was, sticky keys as they are. So we kind of just put it aside. And when the kind of the lockdown happened and all that, I started to get a little more serious about writing and just had this, burn my bonnet that I wanted to get a typewriter out. Mm-hmm. So I got out that old typewriter and looked up on YouTube how to clean it up and get it working again, and did. So used that kind of this last summer, and then I wanted something that looked a little bit more classic. So I ended up finding a Royal 10 through Craigslist. It was only $15 and it was just dirty.
Wow.
So that was cool. But then of course that led to wanting one that was a little more portable, so the search went on, and now I have a few. Got one for Christmas, and discovered Ace over in Portland, Ace typewriter shop over there in Portland. So just discovered that a few months ago. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, so just wanting to find, the perfect bespoke typewriter that I can type on for my stories and my books. So yeah.
Okay, so you're a writer then?
Trying to be, yeah.
Well, yeah, we're all trying.
Yeah.
Every day is a trial.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Got a lot of stories up here and a lot of stories flowing through, and the typewriter just kind of gets rid of that barrier of having to spell things correctly or start searching on YouTube or whatever. So
you're really lucky. Our buddy Bill, who's usually on here, he's right there in Portland, so he can hear about it. Do you know Bill?
I don't know him, but I've watched a few times, so I've seen him, and the that blue Smith Corona I had seen at Ace Typewriter. I'd wondered where it went to and who got it, and he's the one. So that was kind of fun.
That's cool.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, the reason I ask is because we have a variety of reasons that we use typewriters in this group. Some people do it for journaling, others just for the act of writing, and then you have the letter writers and actual writers. People writing books and short stories and poetry, and yeah. So it's always interesting to hear the reasoning behind wanting to type. So, and I do find that if I sit at a computer with a blank page, it can be very difficult to get started writing. But somehow sitting in front of a typewriter, I feel uninhibited, and so it's like my alcohol of writing devices. So yeah. Do you find that as well?
Yeah, in fact, when I had my Royal 10, and then I got Smith Corona silent, and I noticed that with each typewriter, I ended up writing different things. So like they had their own personality that brought out like mystery writing up there, children's books on this one. Yeah, so kind of, I don't know, they're inspiring too. So
yes,
or they're writing, I don't know. Using me to write their stories, who knows?
Yeah. That's funny. All right, well, welcome to the group.
Thank you.
More the merrier.
And hi, May, how are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning.
Good.
Good morning. I'm
Good
doing my
morning.
usual tinkering.
Yeah. You mean twinkling?
Twinkling.
Twinkling.
I'm a little behind. I'm about 8 or 10 typewriters, behind and getting them cleaned up and serviced. And so this was one I unboxed, with the tragedy of the
Oh,
launch.
yes.
But it works. So I just haven't cleaned it yet. I need to clean it.
What tragedy?
Oh, I got a Corona Sterling a few weeks ago, about a month ago, and it was shipped upside down.
Oh, God.
Not locked in the case, so the return lever, it just smashed and completely bent and carved the front.
That was the live
cover.
unboxing, right?
Yeah, it was the live unboxing. So, but it survived. It's just, a little bit cosmetically dinged, but it still works. I just need to clean it. So I'm going to do that while we're chatting.
Very good.
I haven't gotten any new typewriters. I feel like I'm going to kind of stop on buying new typewriters and concentrate on the several that I still need to clean and service, get going again. So I've got some projects ahead of me. So no new typewriters until I get all the ones I have cleaned and fixed. Unless, of course, something really special at a great deal comes along. Of course.
Sure, of course.
Of course, another one
Can't say
comes
no.
along.
Right. And then I got that Selectric. And so I've been kind of going into the Selectric rabbit hole lately. And, it's another beast. It's a completely different typewriter.
That'll keep you busy.
Yeah, it's been keeping me busy. So between the Selectric and about, 8 or 10 typewriters, I still need to clean and service. I'm good on, typewriters for now. And then maybe later this summer, when all of them are clean and I just can't stand anymore, maybe I'll get some more.
Yeah.
I got news for you, May. They'll never all be cleaned. They're
I
always
know.
clean.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So I'm not the only one with dirty typewriters. Huh?
Well, I just had this idea for how to live with typewriters, and I haven't done this myself. But if you make a stack, let's say 4 stacks of typewriter cases, and that are about waist high, and then get a large sheet of glass and put over them, you'll make yourself a coffee table out of typewriter cases. You can make typewriter furniture.
Ottomans,
good idea.
Typewriter ottomans.
Yes.
I do have several stacked up. So.
Yeah. I see Indro's back. So how are you, Indro?
Good evening, good morning to you.
Hey. Hello, to the Netherlands.
Preparing dinner, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Very good. Anything new in your world?
Now, a job interview tomorrow for another job.
Oh, okay.
You just got one.
3 months into my job, which I'm doing now, but something came by and I took my chances and I got an invitation. So tomorrow is a big day.
All right. Good luck.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
And I see Bob smoking, but I quit 3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. He's not taking you, is he?
Congratulations, sir. My respect just went 20-fold over for you. That's great. Well done. I'm so sorry. I didn't know.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. No
I think that explains why Indro's inside right now, because usually he'd be outside taking his smoke
Smoking,
break.
right?
I got my beer though.
There you go.
Hey, Indro, did you say you're in the Netherlands?
Yes.
Yeah. Is there let me think. I've got someone who copyrighted my book, and I guess the Netherlands don't apply to the World Wide Web regarding DMCA or respect for, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Do you know anything about that?
No.
Okay. Yeah, the Netherlands are very big on, we don't follow what the World Wide Web does. We're not going to take down your copyrighted material. So, yeah. So, okay. Well, I think I have to hire a lawyer in the Netherlands. So,
wow.
If I want to pursue it, I may not, unfortunately, but yeah. Anyways, I just didn't know if you had ever heard anything about that. So,
No. If I can do something for you, just send me a letter.
Oh, okay, there you go.
There you go.
Hey, congratulations on not smoking, man. That's got to be the hardest. I'm real lucky. I don't really drink beer. You might catch me having one a month, but yeah, caffeine and nicotine is more than enough for me. But wow, one day at a time, man. Good for you.
Oh yeah. Well, the last time I quit it, I didn't smoke for 3 years, and now I smoked for another 2 years. So if I stop another 3 or 4 years, it's all good.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That's pretty good. Well done, sir. I applaud you.
All right.
I don't smoke or drink, but I've reached the point in my coffee addiction where I drink more coffee in a day than I do water.
Oh, that's bad. Oh, Eric.
I tell people that I intermittently fast between mouthfuls of food.
About 5 seconds at a time.
Right.
Excellent. And I do have to say, Natasha, are you excited for tomorrow?
I am. I really am. And I want to tell you about the book signing issue.
Yeah.
I contacted my publisher, and they, I asked them, well, how does this work? If someone orders the book from Amazon, and they was like, well, we don't, it doesn't divert to me. So what if anyone buys a book, you can mail it to me personally, or if you live somewhere in Tennessee or if we meet up, I'll sign it for you. So
Excellent.
if you want to mail it to me, and then I'll sign it, and then I'll mail it back, if that makes sense. I'll definitely do that.
Very good. I will take you up on that.
And y'all got my address, I'm sure, in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So, you can do that. And I want to show you my new babies. I got to stop this every week.
Ooh.
Tippa S.
Oh,
I'm so confused.
Tippa.
I'm
Nice.
confused now because it has little characters in it that look Spanish or whatever, which is great because I need that for my writings in case I go that direction. But why come I see other Tippa S's that are cursive and they look exactly the same? You know what I mean? I'm like, why come mine can't be cursive? So just saying, but I do have a cursive machine. I'm just saying I want all the cursive machines.
Yeah.
And then I have this one here. Oh, sorry, I got to pull it out of the case. Okay. So
Ooh.
a royal.
Red. Oh, a royal.
I could not resist the color. I didn't need this.
Yeah. It's Razorback
but I could not resist the color.
That is Razorback red for sure. That's
Razor,
beautiful.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now I have to ask, how do you like typing on that?
Which one?
That one right there, the Safari.
Oh, I love it. It's so springy. Like when you
Okay.
type on it, I don't know if that's the right word for it. But it's a tight typing, like it's tight. When you're typing, it
responds well.
It responds instantly. Like it's not like my Underwood here. So you remember my unboxing, right? Now,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
muscles are at work here. But she's beautiful now.
Beautiful.
I don't know if you remember from the unboxing.
Yeah,
her,
yeah.
keys were molded.
Yeah.
And so it was one of you, I think it was Miss Lynn down there, didn't like the stickers on the, didn't like that. Or was it the other lady? It was another lady that, you know, she was saying how people were putting stickers on the keys.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
don't
had
remember
to put
who it was
stickers
though.
on this one. Yeah. So because it was they were so molded that they took the enamel off. And I had to scrub it with simple green.
It was probably me. I'm a big proponent of that. I love having a bump on the F and the J key, the F and J bumps. I'm a big fan of the home row. I keep them around in bulk, you know. I've got tons of stickers for that. So
okay.
I'm a big fan. And I don't know, I mean, how would you sell, hey, pick up a bunch of gems, you know? Some people have looked at it and gone, that's ridiculous, but I'd never have to look at the keyboard. And I do the same when I'm in the recording studio. Obviously, I've got controls with the audio software that I use, and I just have bumps on the keys. I never have to look down at the keyboard, and I use one of those big funny mouses. Anyways, I think there's a lot to that. Good for you. It's okay to have bumps on the home rows. Your computer keyboard. So why not?
But and one other typewriter I got too was a 1936 Underwood.
Oh,
and
okay.
it came in cracked up. It was shipping destroyed it. But I'd already gotten my refund on it because it took so long getting here. And I knew the longer it's in shipping, what happens, especially with a standard, the most likely it's going to be bashed when it gets here. And sure enough, it looked beautiful out the box. I took it out the box. It was like, oh, wow, she's beautiful. I got my ribbons ready. I'm doing all this stuff and turn it around. And it's a little back up there that holds the carriage bar. It's this long bar in the back, and it's this little piece. And it was broken from the iron. The iron was snapped. The iron, the wrought iron, or whatever you call it, it was totally broken. And I was broken hearted. I was like, oh my God, but I already got my refund and everything, but I was like, you know, so it's up there. It's one of my bricks. I got 2.5 bricks, I call them now.
Yeah.
They're unusable. And I bought another replacement last night for one of the bricks. So
yeah.
Yeah.
The reason I asked you about the Royal Safari was because so I type like this.
Oh.
And with my other fingers flared out like that, they keep hitting the edges of the around the keyboard.
Yeah.
It's I describe it as typing in a bowl because you know the site like that. And so when you type like this, it's not comfortable because your pinkies keep whacking the outside.
Oh, okay. Well, when I'm typing, I do like this. I'm with the next letter. I'm like, I've got my finger on the next letter already.
Yeah.
And I just love how it feels. It just springs back. I just love it.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that one. And I'm happy also with the Smith Coronas. They kind of do the same thing, except for one of them, like I said, it's a sort of brick because it keeps skipping and I can't seem to fix the problem. So I bought another one last night. I said, forget it. I bought a twin, a 73 sterling, blue, just like it.
Okay. Now I'm just looking at the YouTube comments. We have Dortrex saying, hi, Mom. So I don't know if someone here is a mother and has a child that's saying hi, or if it's just
that's me. Hi, Dory.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I also got Monk's book too. I got Monk's book, the Bible. I downloaded it on the computer. I also got the book coming in the mail so I can have both, like when I'm in my little new setup in the garage. Then I got this book here. So it's been
yes.
I mean, I've been reading about the different types, and Monk's book helped me to learn that even though that 1936 got bashed anyway, the Underwood, it's also missing a spring for the shift to work.
Oh.
I realized like what is going on? I was trying to fix it myself, except for the bang in the back. I couldn't do nothing about that. I figured some cement person could probably fix that in the future, but it's missing pieces that are important. So I was like, forget it. So that's why it's up there. So that book helped me to realize, it's a little beyond me at the moment.
Wow.
Oh yeah, you know.
At least you know what parts to look for now.
I do, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That really helped out. And I also freshened up a couple of ribbons yesterday with the WD-40.
Very good. Very good.
Some more today when I leave the chat.
You went nice and light on it, right?
Not at first. Because I had I was like, oh no, not this one. I had to turn the hose and then
oh yeah.
yeah. So yeah. But I got a question. Is it okay to store it in plastic bags? Because right now I have them in what do you call it? Little Ziplocs.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not doing something wrong. Because I didn't immediately put it back in the machine, like you were saying in your blog. You just went on here and put it in the machine. See, all my machines are ribbon. I just want that for backup.
You might recognize this machine here from that article.
Yes, yes, I remember the key that was all muddy looking. Yeah. And
yeah, so this machine, I did that article was what, 2015, I think.
Yes, I think
I did this. This is the same ribbon. I have not done anything to it.
Yeah, I remember 5 years.
And it's it's going on 6 years now, and it's been fine. So
nice.
Okay,
it's real nice.
That'll work.
It works.
We'll do that.
It works.
I know Amazon ribbons don't.
Yeah. Now I would say, if you sprayed like way too much WD-40, you probably wouldn't want to put it in the Ziploc just so that it has time to air out a little bit.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah.
Yeah, you want it to dry a little bit. It's like this machine's been out in the air for 6 years now, and it's still printing fine. So you don't need to worry too much about it drying out. Kind of the oily compounds inside the WD-40 actually prevent it from drying out. So you're actually fixing that drying out problem by putting WD-40 on it.
Nice.
And what do y'all think about boiled linseed oil for rust prevention? Because I put some of that on my Underwood right here, the one that I did the unboxing on with the molded keys and all that. I had to do some rust prevention in where the keys hit, that little section like that does like that, like in the Royals.
The printing point.
Yes. And it's very pretty now. I mean, it looks beautiful. Like, I hope I didn't ruin it somehow. I don't know.
And there's another, people like to bag on WD-40, and sometimes I do too, because people can misuse it.
The wrong way, yeah.
But for crinkle paint, it's actually really good for cleaning crinkle paint.
Huh. Okay. So the outside of the Underwood would be good for.
Yeah. It shines it right up, cleans it up and shines it.
Do you know if it would do anything to the decals?
It usually doesn't do anything to the decals.
Okay.
I mean, you're not really rubbing. You're not like trying to take anything off. What you're trying to do is get that oil into the paint.
Yeah,
and
dissolve all the ink off of it.
And just get it shiny.
Okay.
Like on black crinkle paint, like on that Corona that May's working on, looks so beautiful when you wipe it down with a little WD-40.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do that. Cause she a little dry on the outside. Scrub her with some Simple Green a little bit. Because one time I used Lysol. It's interesting y'all mentioned that I had Lysol all-purpose cleaner, and I was cleaning my Royal tin, and it wiped out some of the Royal tin word.
Oh yeah, you got to be careful of that.
No. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, but it was okay. But some of the line inside the word Royal started disappearing. And I was like, no, this ain't the cleaner. So I started doing more research and realized I could use Simple Green, and that didn't take it off at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
curious about the
sensitive.
Was that me?
I find the Royal decals are a little more sensitive. They're not
true.
Yeah.
quite as sturdy as the Smith Corona decals.
Yeah. And Eric, what were you saying?
I was gonna say I'm curious about the like the WD-40 on the typewriter ribbon. When you put it into the machine and it's still a little wet because it sounded like you put it in right after.
Well, I wiped it down first. I like take a rag and run the whole ribbon through the rag.
Yes, I did that.
Get all that excess excess stuff off, and it's still a little wet when you right after you do it. It's still wet and kind of splotchy, but if you give it a couple days to dry out, it'll look just like a brand new ribbon.
Nice.
And you've never had a problem with like the WD-40 getting into the mechanism of the ribbon advance?
Oh, not at all. No. Yeah, once it's you wipe it down and you make sure it's not, you don't want it to drip anywhere.
No.
Just a
So
mist.
you just kind of put a mist on it and kind of, liven up that ink compound again. Wipe it down, let it dry a couple days, and you'll have no problem. It's no different than like a brand new ribbon.
Yeah.
And I also have another little question too, y'all. I'm sorry, one more thing.
No, that's great.
When it comes to typewriters skipping, it's like a disease or something. You know what I'm saying? Like one had it, now my Hermes got it. It started with I'll be honest, it started with the Smith Corona, the blue. It was like it had Corona and spread it to I'm serious, like I don't know. When I started typing with the Corona, with the Hermes, when I first got it, I was like, oh great, okay, and I put it up. Now I pull it out again and I typed up my my prompt today with it, and I noticed it skipped too. I was like, wait a minute, it didn't do that before. And then my Royal, I mentioned that last time, it skips now a little bit. But with the Royal, I could just change my touch a little bit and it won't skip. And even my Underwood, the one that I love so much from last week, she skips sometimes if I don't push her all the way to number 6 as far as the pressure,
Yeah.
Right. If I have her at 4, she even tips to 4 by mistake. Skip. So I have to push her back to 6 because she'll start tipping back over like that. So I'm like, God, dog,
Yeah. Now, do you type fast?
Sometimes I do, yeah. If I have an idea and I'm trying to get it out, boom, skip. So it could be my fault too,
The Royal that skips is.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Eric.
That Royal that skips, is it with the Royal Quiet Deluxe?
No, it's the HHE. I do have a Quiet Deluxe though, but the HHE is the one that's doing it. But I adjusted myself, and now it doesn't do it so much now.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I thought I remembered you showing the Royal Quiet Deluxe that had the carriage speed control.
Yes, and this one does too. Yeah, this HHE and the Deluxe does. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, because I was able to fix the skipping issue on my Royal Quiet Deluxe by adjusting the that speed mechanism.
Yes.
And it doesn't do it anymore.
See, that's what I was saying on this Underwood. I have to keep it at 6. If I don't have the speed, that's what I meant to say. I guess I didn't have the right word for it. But I keep it at 6 because if one little notch over here to 4, skipping. And the Royal HHE, same thing. Once I adjusted that, the skipping's not doing it as much. And also adjust my touch. I have to, like lightly do that. And it still types really well, even at a light touch, but I'm heavy-handed, I guess, naturally too. So that can be a problem.
Well, the mechanics would adjust, back in the day when you took your machine to a mechanic, they would adjust it to your typing style.
Okay.
They're, the mechanics were trained not to tell you that you're doing it wrong. It would make the machine work for you.
Yeah.
So those adjustments are there, and if you want to mess with those adjustments, you can learn a lot. You can make it worse, but then you can make it better too. So
yeah, like we were talking about before.
I wouldn't mind being an apprentice to someone, one day, I guess, if I can find some. Well, there's a guy that fixes typewriters here not far, but that's not his main thing. He also does office machines and stuff like that. So I would like to do that one day too, so I can learn more about how to do things myself. Like the other lady had mentioned as well.
Yeah. So I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's your typing style. It's your fault," but it's not your fault. It's the machine just needs to be tuned to your typing style.
There you go.
You're right. This is spreading. I mean, it's spreading towards me. I was thinking.
It's not your fault.
Well, I think it's a combination of they're really old and they need to be cleaned and lubricated, and like Ted said, they need to be adjusted. There's little metal things and screws to adjust and springs and stuff like that. So you've got to take the time to learn how to be a typewriter mechanic. And then how do you do that, right?
And then you got to think that the machine that you have, you don't know where it's been. You don't know where it came from. You don't know that it hasn't been,
it could have been in a flood.
Yeah. Well, you don't know that it hasn't been adjusted for someone else's touch.
Exactly.
Well, true. That's true.
Yeah, so you don't, that's
After
the
hearing
thing
what you
is,
said, yeah,
Mhm.
that makes sense.
Very good.
So there's a lot more to it. You know, Dwayne Jensen is, he's got a lot of knowledge that we don't have yet. So
yeah. And
we've got
one of
work
the
to do.
things you learn from
Catching up to
Dwayne's
do.
videos is
I do. And yours
is
too, the
you
vlog.
can see him go through the process and you can see him make mistakes.
Yeah, figure things out and mess. Yeah, exactly.
You know, you see his whole thought process when you watch his videos.
Yeah, he doesn't edit his videos.
Yeah.
No, well, but yeah, exactly.
And that can be really encouraging to someone who's, just starting out at this.
Like me.
Yeah, definitely. I do have to say hi to Anthony.
Anthony.
He's typing away.
And then it's kind of what we're all doing together.
Hi, everybody.
We're all learning how to be typewriter mechanics, basically,
Yeah.
So, hey, Anthony.
Yeah, hi there. Yeah, I was going to say, Dwayne Jensen's Phoenix typewriter. I'm not a mechanical person, and I'm able to watch his videos and solve problems. I had an Olympia SM 9, and the carriage return kept hitting the body of the typewriter, and I got some really terrible information, and it didn't fix it. And then I watched Dwayne fix the problem, and it was very, very simple. And I was able to do it myself. And man, I was just effusive with joy. With Dwayne, I just like
all hail Dwayne.
Thank you. Yeah, all hail Dwayne. He's great. I've actually sent him. I sent him my Remington Portable Model 5 to be fixed, and he featured a video of it, and it was just great to see him. He called my type slugs the dirtiest he'd ever seen. I felt so ashamed. Yeah. He's
it's not your fault.
It's like a parent. Oh, your kid's face is so dirty. That's how I felt. So, but yeah, hello everybody.
Hello. It's always good seeing you.
I might have to send him my Rex Visible, because I tried doing the what do you call it, that cord for the carriage strap.
Drawband, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I did succeed at it, and it, but it still didn't move I succeeded to a point where it was on there and you could feel it move whenever I moved the carriage. It was kind of trying to take it back, but my silly self put it on the bed because I was moving another typewriter, and then I typed a couple of things on it and it snapped again. Why'd I do this? And so I'm frustrated now. I just need to
bring in a professional.
Yeah.
Or even a semi-professional.
Yeah, he helped me with that. Phoenix Typewriter is the one that taught me how to do that.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, next time you're in Little Rock, come bring your typewriters and we can.
I sure will.
Typewriter repair party.
There you go.
Figure them out. I got plenty of tools and plenty of lubricants and cleaners, so we can.
Is that brake?
Figure them out. This is electronic cleaner. I found it's great for just metal. Don't get it on any paint.
Okay.
But for cleaning just metal parts, it's really strong solvent. It smells bad, so you want to use it outside.
Yeah, I got the CRC brake cleaner, and I put that on the Rex Visible.
I think they're similar. I think probably similar type solvents.
Yeah. So I put it inside that. Try to get it to work. Yeah, the keys.
Yeah.
And Ted had mentioned using WD-40 on your crinkle. I actually did it on my Royal, what do you call this thing? Quiet Deluxe, and man, did it work really well.
I'm going to try that.
Awesome. You just, you don't kind of rub it in. You just kind of put a little in, and I got a soft cloth, and I just worked at it. And it worked really, really well. I was kind of like, what? It's like using ketchup. You can sometimes use ketchup for stainless steel.
The vinegar.
Vinegar. Yes, I did the vinegar thing with this thing the Underwood from last week. And I cleaned the chrome with it. Excellent. I just touched it with some vinegar and then took a brush and started scrubbing, and that chrome shined right through quickly. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna start taking pictures of my typewriters and putting them on my Instagram page, which I put in the chat. So I have done little things like that, but that's why I want to scrub them up and get them pretty so I can put them out there, just to do little photo shoots and stuff with them.
Yeah. Getting them to work right is more about cleaning them and getting all the gunk out and making sure everything's connected right and adjusted right. So cleaning is like 99%, of repairing a typewriter, I find.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
The gunk is what makes them broken.
Yeah.
I had some of the type slugs I had to clean out on one of my machines and didn't want to, take the dentist tools to clean out and all the letters and everything. So I took some cotton balls and put mineral spirits on them.
Yeah.
And put it up against the type slug and held it there with a rubber band. That way it'd be on there for, I think I left it for 2 hours and then came back. They cleaned up real easy after that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I love my mineral spirits. Yeah.
So
sorry, I was just gonna say I use mineral spirits in a wire brush, or it's made of nylon. Yeah, and that works really well.
Yeah. So we have John Maillet in the comments, and he says typewriters deserve to visit May's spa.
Little rubber ducky treatment.
May's typewriter foster home.
There you go.
So I just love the tinkering part, and it's not hard. It just takes a lot of time. Oh, that's the thing. So
very contemplative.
It's very contemplative, and with the pandemic, to me, the pandemic is still going on. I'm still staying at home. I'm still not going out and being social just yet. So these are great, stay-at-home projects for me. Something new keeps my brain.
I got a Royal tin out there that I've broken down completely, and I got paint remover because some idiot before me, I guess, or somebody who's trying to be weird, I guess, put a lot of gray, weird paint over it.
Oh.
And so when I sent off for it, I knew it was messed up. So I wanted to make it like a personal project.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm about to strip the paint off it today too, some more, and then paint it red. I was gonna paint it red, and I forgot. I don't remember who it was that was talking about make your typewriter. They had a group to make your typewriter look like your car. Well, my car looks like a race car. I have my mini. My mini has race symbols on it and stuff like that, and has the European tags and stuff on it and all that stuff. So and the GB in the back in case I cross over into France one day with it. Anyway, long story short, I want to paint it and have it look just like my car in a way. I wanted to take that little challenge myself, challenge myself to it and see what happens.
Nice.
Are there people on board who have taken paint off typewriters? I had one sandblasted.
I've washed it off on accident, bad paint.
I'm thinking sandblasting might be the best way to get the paint off, really, because it's pretty tough a lot of times.
Well,
and it's probably lead.
Yeah, the black paint won't come off. that shellac looking paint.
Yeah.
Somebody put this all gray. I can't leave it like that because it's terrible. It's like this flaky gray stuff is all over it. Paint. Yeah, it's like I got to get that off at least and then see what else I can do. But
there's a thing called media blasting. It's not exactly sand. It's more like some kind of pellets, little fine pellets. But they do this in the automotive rebuilding process. You can get, metal panels media blasted down to the bare metal.
Okay. Yeah, because I need to do something with it. I'm gonna try to show y'all here in a second. Y'all can talk among yourselves. I'm trying to figure this out.
So you guys aren't into really repainting typewriters much, I guess.
Not me.
I would if it was a really special one, but I don't want to do it. I know someone who does it, and she does a great job, and she's actually here in Arkansas, and so I could just send it to her.
Yeah, I want to do it. I want to try it myself though, because it's just like a throwaway machine. And well, can't say throwaway because it's a Royal 10, but thank God I have my real Royal 10 that I work with. But this is like a play thing. It was only like what I spend on it, like $40 or something. So it's like a play toy that I want to work with.
The paint's already
and design it, and the paint already destroyed it. So
yeah,
it's like,
so it's a good candidate for that.
yeah.
Got an Underwood leader like that, but the only issue that I have is I don't have anywhere that I could paint it up here.
Oh yeah.
I understand. Yeah, I had to totally redo my garage yesterday to fit my little workspace in. I had to totally push boxes. Like I had to part the Red Sea of boxes to make a space for me. Yeah.
Well, I've been actually it wasn't paint, but it was actually fountain pen ink. But I was doing a project with it, and it involved splattering it. So what I did was I took a cardboard box and put the object inside the box and did it that way. So, you know, I mean, for spray painting, it'd have to be a pretty big box, but so I don't know if that would work for you, Matthew, like trying to contain it in a big box.
I made the mistake of spray painting inside of an apartment one time, and that.
Okay. Okay.
The aerosol puts paint particles absolutely everywhere.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my dust, it was
Okay, guys, let me take y'all out. But yeah, hold on. Y'all talk among yourself.
They can be dangerous too. You can do brain damage that way. So yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, all the dust was a light blue color for a long time after that.
Dane Bramage.
All right, so bad advice.
But I'd really be more careful about the fumes. But that strikes me too. Everyone talks about Dwayne and how good his videos are, but they're not necessarily good in terms of avoiding fumes. You know, he's like using contact cement and going.
He'll be the first to tell you, but he's got a monster huge window known as a garage door, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why the light's always real good. So there's a ton of ventilation.
Outside,
Because he'll tell you his lungs have issue with all the alcohol he's breathed over the years. So it's very important to him.
You can hear the traffic sounds in the background because he does have his garage door open. Yeah.
Right. No, it's a good idea. No, that was a big thing he told me. He's getting a ton of ventilation. So I've got two doors open. That's why, you know, everything's always moving this way. But
Yeah.
Keep the ventilation.
Yeah. Hi, Dan.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm trying to adjust the sound on this.
Oh, okay. Do you have something for us, Natasha?
Yeah, I'm trying to switch this video. There I go. Okay, every time I touch it, it does something. Okay, now here's my garage thing, right? Where I had, and there's my car. See, this is what I want it to look like.
A typewriter like that. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice. Awesome.
And where's my English guy? There's a guy from England that is usually
William.
in
here.
Yeah, William. You see the saint right there? That symbol? I keep that on the back of my car. I'm weird like that. And then So just I want him to see that, but he's not here. And also my significant other is Welsh, so he works on my car. So I put that on. But yeah,
So is that the same number as Herbie the Love Bug, but Herbie the Love Mini?
No, Herbie's 54.
Oh,
my
54,
37.
thanks.
My 37 is the year. I mean, I'm sorry, how old I was when I had my daughter. I always wanted a little girl, so yeah.
I like your trike, by the way. It's cool.
I love her. Thank you. I had some pictures taken of myself on that. But here's what I'm working on here. See, I took some of the paint off on this piece here using this stuff. And y'all can call me crazy, but I used that. And but I needed to get that that gray off there. See that gray flaky junk right there?
Oh yeah. Ooh.
See, it's all over. I mean, it's all over the thing.
You know what?
So
that wasn't some guy. That was actually a dealership did that because the labeling looks like it's still intact.
Oh wow.
So that was a typewriter dealer probably in the 40s or 50s did that.
Oh, okay. I probably said the wrong thing, but I'm telling you, it doesn't work for me today. That's
fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So I took the glass panels out and all that. It still had all that original. And of course, y'all remember my Rex Visible. I'm trying to get the keys to quit being like that. So I sprayed brake cleaner in it because nothing else works. So I got to get into it again today. So
yeah.
and then I tape my little pieces together. Still got my carriage for that over right here, as you can see.
Labeling all your parts. That's smart.
Very
good. Or else I'll screw up. So that's my little work area right here in between all my other junk. So there you go. So I'll be back in.
Awesome. More projects. I like projects.
Hey, Ted.
Yes.
I have a question about your molding video.
I have an answer. May
well,
not be a good one, but it's an answer.
So I saw you put the sticks in there. What are they for?
They're for, okay, on you're talking about the SM7, SM9 feet. They have two little slots in the top, and I use sticks, or I might use, you know, pencils or something to make holes in the rubber, because you pour the rubber around it.
Right.
And so when you pull the stick out, you're left with a hole.
Oh, okay.
Now, those little sticks are for the bracket, the mounting bracket to go into and fold over.
Oh, okay.
So that's basically anytime you see me use like little sticks or little, you know, pencils or something, that's because there needs to be a hole in that spot.
Ah.
Okay. Have you cast solid ones?
Yes.
You have? Oh, okay. So they're not hard to get out of there or anything?
No, because you're making a two-part mold where you take the top off, and then you can just like kind of pull the feet out of the bottom part of it. So you can make one-piece injection molds, but they're quite a bit harder to get stuff out of. So that's the answer. Is that satisfactory?
Yeah, partially. What's part two?
Okay, let's hear the part two.
So, what if the rubber that you're using as the I have an example foot, but it has shrunk due to age. So I think it was actually bigger than it actually is.
Okay, then you have a problem, because you need one that's exactly the right size.
Right.
It can be hard. It just can't be smushed or crumbled or shrunken.
Meaning
So,
it comes in and out very easily.
I don't know what to tell you there.
I was thinking maybe I'd put like some tape or something, some maybe Gorilla tape around the post to see if I could get it to the point where, you know, if I put it in the typewriter and then I lift the typewriter, it doesn't fall out.
Do that. Try it. Give it a try.
Also, would it be possible to alter the mold? Like, can you carve in the mold?
You can. It's difficult material. Like silicone is very soft, so you can use a razor blade to shave it. But it's also non-grained, so like it's really easy to like make a huge cut where you didn't intend
where
to.
you don't want to. Okay.
So you know, try anything, but you know, take care.
Yeah.
What about like modeling clay or something?
Modeling clay, if you want to make your own feet out of modeling clay, and
No, just for the buildup.
Oh yeah, I use modeling clay for the first layer when I do it. If you look at the video, you see I have kind of an orange clay that I use to set the feet into and put my sticks in. And then I pour the first part of the mold on top of that. And then I pull the modeling clay off and you know, ball it up and put it back in the bag. And then I pour the top part out of silicone. So I use modeling clay as kind of the base to set the whole thing on. But you can actually mold things out of modeling clay and then cast them. So like I didn't use modeling clay. I tried to use modeling clay to make the SM3 case feet, but I'm a really bad sculptor. And so it didn't work. And so I took some 3D prints that I found from Steve Dade. I actually bought some from Steve Dade literally weeks before he died. And then I took foam rubber and glued that on to make them thicker. And then, use scissors to cut those out. And if you look at one of the really early episodes of Typewriter Club, you'll actually see me doing that. That's what I'm doing in the background, is making those feet. So if you can craft something in basically any kind of material, you can cast it and make rubber feet out of it.
Yeah. Very good.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Hopefully that was helpful.
So in the comments, going back ways now, because we've been very chatty, but which is a good thing. We had John Young on YouTube asking about correction methods, and I know Ted was showing our beloved correct type. And
Type. I just discovered it too. It's wonderful.
And I think we're in general agreement that that's the ideal way to do corrections.
It's the best.
The best. There you go.
Mine's not Correctotype, but it's the same thing.
Same stuff.
Yeah.
Same stuff. And you can get this stuff new. I think it's FJA Products that sells the sheets of it, and you just have to
cut them
break
down,
it up or cut them down, but it's the same exact film, correct?
Yeah.
So you can get it new. You can get it new.
And I like Sean's dispenser there. That's awesome.
Those, yeah.
Dixon is
Probably
another
easy.
brand. Yeah.
Just rip off what you need, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sean, are those new or is those new old stock, the Dixon?
All new old stock. I bought them off eBay a couple
Cool.
years ago because I thought, well, the way I go, I hoard a bit, and I also know I'm going to run out one day, and I don't want to be 85 and need some. So.
Well, I know Ted has a lifetime supply of correct type. He bought that retail box of it.
Yeah, here we go.
Let me add you to the screen. Oops.
See, I need some of that.
Yeah, I found a whole box of this stuff still wrapped in plastic on eBay.
Cool. Wow.
And I'm down to what, 8 boxes?
Wow.
So I gave some away, and
use it.
You have one of those little boxes, and it'll probably last you a lifetime.
Yeah.
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 But, so I don't know why I need this much, but I like the box anyway.
But you were very generous to send me one, so I really appreciate that. I just need to find it. I still haven't found it.
Oh, you lost it?
Oh, no.
I tucked it away somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, in a typewriter case, probably.
Well, either that or I have been, boxing things away. So I had temporarily set some, various typewriter related stuff on top of the box. So it's possible it fell in that box. I have failed to look in the box yet, but I'm hoping that's where it is. But
Apple has a solution for you now.
Adventure.
What's that?
It's only like $99 for one of those little AirTag thing pogs that you can track your stuff with.
Yeah.
And always tell Apple where your things are.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Excellent.
Here's another one. I don't know. This is Canadian. That was the liquid paper one. So there's a lot of varieties. Correct type's the most common, I think. And the one we all like just because of its cachet within the typewriter world. But
I have one like that.
Yeah.
I need that. I need it.
Yeah.
And that's still, you can get that new, or is that old stock?
This was old stock too. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, let's see. Where's my...
It says
Now-
Boston, Massachusetts though. So it's
Yeah.
US.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Now I do have to say, when I don't have my correct type handy, I'm not afraid to just put slashes through and correct things that way. Yeah.
No fear.
Move on.
Yeah.
Accept your humanity.
I know, huh? And then we had another question, and this was actually for Sean. Is there a preferred model of Oliver's? And Indro went into, I think Indro has left us, but or maybe he's listening, but essentially he said, I think Oliver made only one model and improved it following the numbers up. So the last in the series would be best, but I don't know. I owned an Oliver and took it apart, reassembled it, and sold it. They are cool, but not my kind of thing. So that was from Indro. So
yeah, they are very neat, and there were a lot of models, and yeah, you could all look at them as improvements on the previous version. They got better and better, and people think that they were very rare and short-lived, but they lived 50 plus years.
Wow, made a lot of them.
And they made a bazillion. I like to use that number because it sounds awesome, but they made a ton of number 9s. Like you'll always find a number 9, then followed by number 5s, and then it sort of works its way out there. But they ended.
You think that's what was that what the Beatles song was about? The number 9 song.
Number 9.
Same thing.
Number 9. Number 9.
Yeah. 8 6 7 5 3 Oliver 9.
Excellent. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy. He's in the antique typewriter collectors, and I think he takes songs and changes the lyrics to
Larry Presnell.
Yes, to include typewriters. So
I did one too.
Yep, she has her own song.
I have my own song. Yeah, in the Facebook group.
Oh, excellent.
Just have to go back to like last summer, I think.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. I only did one. Just one.
It was a good one though.
That was a good one.
Very good. All right, so we are like over 2 hours into the meeting, and we haven't talked about the typing prompt. So maybe I should dive into that. Does anyone have a typing prompt that they would like?
I have one.
Oh yes. So
but anybody can go first. I don't care.
You can go first.
You can go first.
All right. Well, I'll go first. It's titled "Dummy Chronicles." Entry number 1. I work full-time for the IRS. Needless to say, I despise it, but it feeds my new typewriter addiction. So I put up with it. Every day, all day, people are calling in about their missing tax and stimulus checks. Some are at the point of desperation, so desperate, in fact, that some of them have lost their ability to think clearly or at all. Or maybe they weren't very smart to begin with. Like this one caller, she, of course, called in requesting the status of her stimulus payment. Because I could only answer general questions, I advised her accordingly. However, as usual, that was not good enough. She mentioned that her check may be lost or worse, stolen. I advised her that if she felt that way, she could initiate a payment trace. I proceeded to give her instructions on how to fill it out herself instead of waiting forever for someone to answer the phone on the main IRS line. She was okay with this, but then it was time to give her the address to mail the form to. Yes, snail mail. The IRS has somehow not managed to follow the rest of us into the 21st century. The address to her local IRS is Kansas City IRS 333 West Pershing Road, Kansas City, Missouri 64108. As I recited it to her so she could write it down, she asked the craziest question I had never heard in my life. Do I have to write Kansas City twice? Why? Y'all get that right? Like she's asking why she has to write Kansas City in an address twice. I'm like, it dumbfounded me. I never heard, but anyway, before, and this is the prompt. I opened my mouth and the words just came out. I said, ma'am, have you ever written a letter before? It came out before. I was like, I've never heard that. I mean, it just blew my mind for real. So really, I mean, being a customer service rep, I was not supposed to utter such a thing, but it erupted out of me before I knew it. She replied, yeah, I have. It's just, and I didn't even let her finish. I said, I didn't even let her, I didn't let her finish her sentence before I repeated the address again for her in its entirety. I really thought she could have been trolling me there for a second, but no, it was really one for the Dummy Chronicles. My opinion.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
man.
right. Some people have never written an actual letter before.
They may
You
not
know-
have, but she said she had. I was like, oh, never mind. Let's just go with the
It's been a
address.
while.
That reminds me of the late author David Foster Wallace had a great book he wrote about working at an IRS call center. He worked at an IRS call center for about 9 months, and it was just absolutely great book. You guys should get that. I can't remember the name of the book. I think it's something like An Absolutely Great Thing I'll Never Do Again or something like that. But it's
it's excruciating.
Oh.
You get to know how much is going on out here for real. That's all I can.
Yeah,
say.
he was talking about, he gets to the point where he was, waiting between calls in this cubicle farm, and he was almost starting to hallucinate. He was actually hallucinating that there was some kind of a grim reaper of death walking amongst the cubicles.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I work from home, and it still feels like that because you're trapped by your phone. You know, you're trapped by this computer all day, and I do sit there and daydream about storylines and type every now and then. I seriously do.
Yeah, I believe it.
And I keep my muse's picture right by me, so when I start daydreaming, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, and it kind of inspires me. Y'all see him on Instagram. He's right there all the time.
Excellent. All right. Anyone else? Any more typing prompts?
Yeah, I managed this week.
Okay.
Because I figured I'm not going to be around very much anymore. So
No, we're going to miss you.
Go out with a bang. It's short though. And I'm supposed to be like a writer. So here you go. I opened my mouth and the words just came out. Oh shit. As I dropped the queen in a game of spades. My sister said with feeling, "What did you say?" And I mumbled nothing as my mother sighed, "Never mind."
Excellent. Short but sweet.
Short and sweet. I love it.
Before you move on, I have one project I've been working on.
Definitely.
I really like this Erica that I picked up. I think because May showed one, and I was like, oh, I should go back and get that.
Aww.
And it came with a case that was all beat up. And so I've been, let's see if I can, maybe I better, well, maybe we can do it.
There we
But
go.
I've been redoing it. I'd say it's, I mean, doing all this stuff is not too bad, but using black, maybe tweed or gray is maybe an easier thing to work with. If you're, working with glue and black, it's just like a nightmare, so. But I used like a spray adhesive that didn't really work very well. And then I got some rubber cement type stuff, contact cement.
Yeah.
And that's really very effective, and it smooths out real nice. And I think it's going to be real sweet with a pretty typewriter in it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Nice.
But I'm not a real crafty person, and so doing like cutting, it's
Fabric and
sort of
stuff like
different.
This takes longer, that's all.
Well, and it's not working to my strong suit particularly, but it's doable. You can do it. It's like,
Very good. Yeah. Anyone else have a typing prompt?
I want to know why Lynn's not going to be around.
Oh, I got vaccinated and I'll be 2 weeks out. So then I'll go back to my church thing.
Oh.
I
So
can't be at the
you just
temple.
won't be here on Sunday.
Yeah, I won't be at the Temple of Typewriters anymore.
Schedule. She won't be able to sign on. We'll just have to do a different time for you.
Can we get the church to move things? What's the big deal with Monday? Come on.
What? It is good for Gregory. That's
Or you have a smartphone, you could be streaming the YouTube insert on your phone with it on mute, right? You could
Well,
watch it.
I'll definitely look at the YouTube afterwards and keep up with you that way, but I won't be around. So
yeah,
We'll hold up signs saying, "Hi, Lynn, are you watching?"
I'll put her picture right here.
Amen.
I could leave this running and you could look at my ceiling. Maybe.
There you go. At least focus it on a typewriter for
Typewriter.
Yeah, just do a slideshow of typewriters.
You should just get a life-size cardboard cutout and put yourself just like in a chair.
There you go. Lynn is awfully quiet.
Yeah, she doesn't say much, but
but she's here every time. Oh, you will be missed, though. Honestly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll drop in as able.
Good. Good. And hi, Kara. How are you?
Hey, I'm good.
Hey.
Very good. Very good. Any more typing prompts?
I
No?
didn't do one.
I do have mine.
All right, Gregory.
All
Let's
right,
hear it.
let's do it.
Okay. I better wet my whistle real quick.
Good.
Get that organic free range coffee down.
Well, it's instant coffee, but I made it in a very special way. So, and it's actually like drinking candy because instead of using water, I used milk. So I steamed the milk and then put the instant coffee directly in there, and put a little bit of creamer, just enough to flavor it and sweeten it, just a little bit. But my goodness, it's so good.
How much Kahlua do you put in?
A whole bottle, basically, full size. Okay, so here we go. I opened my mouth and the words just came out. I will, I said. This was contrary to my usual method of waiting an inhumanly long time to volunteer for something, anything. Someone else will do better. Someone else will know more. Someone else will learn the ropes much faster. Someone else might fail instead of me. Ah, so that was it. I was afraid of failure. Of course, I knew this already on some level, because even greater than my lack of confidence is my failure complex. This failure complex rears its ugly head the highest when there is an audience. On personal projects, I can fail all day long and not give a damn. But failing publicly would be like a chameleon revealing its true colors to predator or prey. The public shaming, really imagined, would certainly cause me to shrivel up and blow away. I will, I said. This response came in an inhumanly short amount of time when the need for a veteran liaison was presented. Not only did I volunteer with little consideration, but I wasn't even entirely sure, or sure at all, what a veteran liaison does, other than the broad role suggested by the words alone. And yet I opened my mouth and the words "I will" just came spilling out. Maybe it was the desire to appear willing and confident, traits that come in handy for moving up the ladder of success. Maybe it was my feeling of not pulling my weight, wanting to do more. Or maybe, being a Virgo, it was my innate desire, need, to help people. Jim Morrison of The Doors may have thought astrology was a bunch of bullshit, but I'm a Virgo to a T. I don't know which reason it was. Likely it was a combination of reasons, a magic potion, if you will, because it would certainly take a potion for me to come forward so quickly. And now, 3 years later, I'm still the veteran liaison, and I'm still trying to figure out what that is. And then there is a little footnote, because as I was writing the sentence, where is it? But failing publicly would be like a chameleon revealing its true colors to predator or prey, which is what I thought was the reason for chameleons changing their color. I did some research, and that is not the reason. So chameleons actually, upon my further research, change color for two reasons. One, depending if they are hot or cold, and two, to communicate with other chameleons, which I found very interesting. But I had already typed that line, so I couldn't very well go back and change it. And I like the imagery of it, so even if
it's true, it's true now, Gregory. So.
Yeah, there you go. And I added my little footnote. So
yeah.
Love your prompts.
Like a true Virgo, Gregory. Let's get the details correct.
Yeah. And while I do have the stage, I do want to give you the story of my niece. So maybe 3 weeks ago, something like that, my sister sent me a message saying that my niece was asking for a typewriter. I think I had mentioned this to you guys maybe a couple weeks ago.
You did.
So then this last week, I took over Brother Charger 11, and then this guy here. This is the wolf. There. Woo. It's really pretty. It's really pretty.
Ooh, yeah. Streamliner.
Yes. So I took over the Brother Charger 11 and this one, and put them side by side, and let her try them. And
she was smart.
What's that?
The right one.
Yeah, definitely. As we were typing, because she would type on both, and then I would type on both, and the Brother Charger 11 was so much better. My goodness.
I like it. It's beautiful.
So she, this has the far better color. The Brother Charger 11 was just blue, which is nice, but this is like really pretty.
He was not fooled by cosmetics.
Yeah, exactly. So she immediately said she preferred the Brother Charger 11. So when she realized that, let me backtrack a little bit. When I walked in, I didn't know, but my sister had not told her what I was bringing. So I set them down, in their cases on the table, and she said, "What are those? Are those suitcases?" I was like, "No." And then I opened it up for her, and her eyes got all big. And I believe her line was, "I think I unlocked the secrets of the world." She said that out of the blue. I was like, "Wow."
Wow.
Those are great words.
I have one, Gregory, the one you're talking about. I love it.
Yeah. Let me put you on the screen here.
The Brother Charger 11. I actually have.
Yeah, there we go.
The Sears version of this one, just in a cream color. It just says Sears with correction, I think, and it's the same exact typewriter but cream. But yeah, very basic Brother JP ones.
Yeah.
Very solid. Yeah, I agree with Ted. She chose the
better quality, definitely
better typing experience for sure.
Now the interesting thing is, so I was teaching her, basically how to type. She had never touched a typewriter before, and in fact, I think she hadn't even really seen one before. She read about it in the Goosebumps books, and so in those Goosebumps books, they don't even have pictures. So I was kind of surprised, like how she could imagine what a typewriter if you don't see a picture,
It's called painting with words.
There you go.
Yeah.
So basically, let's see here. Where was I in my story?
She had never seen one before.
She never seen one before.
Oh yeah, so she was very quickly picking up like how to use it. I was really impressed. And
yeah, the keyboard is kind of intuitive, of course, because it's just like a computer.
Yeah, but then she noticed something. She said, "Hey, where's the one?" I said, "Well, can you look on the keyboard and find what might look like a one?" And of course, she said the I, and so I had her type the capital I. I said, well, yeah, that could be used as a one, but it doesn't really look like one, does it?
Yeah.
She said, no. And I was like, well, think about the other letters and maybe like the lowercase letters. And so she picked L. I was like, yeah, that's it. But more impressive than that, I said, but do you notice it also doesn't have an exclamation point? And so she looked at the keyboard for a long time, and I asked her, like, well, how would you make an exclamation point? And without me saying anything else, she typed an apostrophe. And then you can see her looking and thinking like really hard, like she knew the next key to press, but she wasn't sure how to get it under the apostrophe. I said, oh, press the backspace. So she pressed the backspace, and then on her own, she pressed the period. And I was like, yes, you got it. And she actually picked that up much faster than I did.
I had the same revelation too,
So that was pretty awesome. It was a proud uncle moment.
Awesome.
You should have said nobody yelled in the old days.
I know. We didn't use exclamation points.
Everybody was monotone in the old days. Nobody got excited.
You don't need an exclamation point. You just type in all caps. You get the same.
That's outright yelling, though.
Right.
Yeah, but I had my proud moment as an uncle. Oh, and after that, she was typing pretty well. So then sitting right there, just in a few minutes, she typed a letter to her dad, and then she typed a letter to her best friend. And then when I got home, my sister said she typed a third letter. So I was like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So
let him loose.
I know, huh?
And how old is your niece?
She's 9. Yeah. So
cool.
I was very, very impressed. And yeah. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I told her I would type her a letter and send it to her. So, and then she can reply. Yeah, but that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're a
9 is good for that age. I mean, for that.
I love that.
It's up to us to teach the younger generation about typewriters, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, my 10-year-old daughter likes to bang on my Sears typewriter.
Oh,
let her do that because I'm not crazy about that one anyway.
Oh,
but she can really type on it, but she like the LOL, all that and
emojis,
sort of thing on there.
Yeah.
Oh, and then she likes doing what you call it, the binary code type thing.
Oh yeah,
01010.
Yeah,
figure it out. And, so she does that.
Yeah. I actually had to go right back over there because as she was in the middle of her third letter, I forgot that the ribbon I had in the brother charger didn't have the little grommets, and so the ribbon just kept going and it went right off the spool. And so my sister sent me a message saying, "Oh, we think we broke the ribbon," and I was like, "Oh no, I just forgot that particular typewriter doesn't have the grommets."
Interestingly, those typewriters don't even need the grommets as long as it's attached to the spool and doesn't pull off. Those typewriters are like, when it tightens, it automatically switches even without the grommets.
Yeah, not on that one. I stick it on there and it comes off every time.
That way.
Every time. Yeah.
Brothers are
some brother
intended to
typewriters.
have,
what was
brothers
that?
are intended to have the grommets, but they will sometimes work. If
They'll sometimes work without them on some of them.
Yeah,
the switches.
not that one.
If the mechanism is loose enough.
Yeah. But she ended up with an even newer ribbon, or actually a new ribbon, because the other one was the original one that came in it. So although it was still very inky, but then she ended up with a brand new ribbon that I had bought on Amazon. So yeah. All right. Any more typing prompts, or does anyone have questions or comments or?
Got a short one.
Okay, excellent. Go ahead, Brandy.
Okay, I'm going to preface this by saying this is a work of fiction. This is very important. I kept my mouth shut tight around a jumble of letters that rolled sharply against my tongue and teeth. I took shallow breaths through those letters, trying to keep standing upright in front of you. I thought about what else I could say here, what words could break such strong news. Then I opened my mouth, and those words just came out. Honey, I'm pregnant. Twins.
Oh.
I can see why you wanted to say that was
fiction.
Yeah.
Oh, honey, I swear.
You suspenseful
Unless
music.
you're talking about
watching.
twin typewriters.
Imagine if someone found out like by watching this stream. That would not be ideal.
I think he would take back his Post-it note from this week.
Oh, nice. Very nice. I like the way you worded it. The whole setup of it about the words jumbled in the mouth. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Now, do you write a lot, like creative writing? Yeah, excellent.
Well, not a lot. I mean, I have since the age of 9. I have been a creative writer.
Excellent. I can tell. Very good. All right. Anyone else? I see you typing, Sean. What are you typing?
I'm writing a letter. I'm writing a letter. But I'm talking about you guys at the same time. But the guy that I'm writing to is actually on this call too. So it's sort of like anticlimactic, but it's one of those, I took a picture of you taking a picture of me type of
yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. So I was just reflecting on that because it'll be funny when this person gets this letter here in a week or so, they'll be like, oh yeah, that's what you were doing, banging away on that, Oliver. I have to mute myself. I don't know if you guys can hear this.
No.
I'm always worried that when I type, it's going to come.
Zoom.
Well, I've been muting myself.
Yeah,
Let's see
Zoom does it for us. That's the beauty of Zoom. It takes all that background noise. We can hear a little, yeah. Now we can hear Ted.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ted's doing the OBS thing, so it might be a little different, you know.
No, actually, it doesn't take the sound from OBS. It takes sound from the microphone. Zoom.
Okay.
I could actually. I looked into what it would take for me to put OBS sound in the, my mixer and everything through the Zoom client, and I'd have to compile software and stuff.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
Plus, we like the sound of your typewriter.
Exactly.
So if I type and talk at the same time, then you'll hear it probably a lot more.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so there's the way that we do things.
Yeah, we hear that.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Better question would be can you type something and say something different and not end up typing?
It's like patting your head, rubbing your belly.
Yeah, I have to go back and take that whole word out there because I just screwed up the letter here. So.
Right.
I have to say that Oliver sounds pretty good. I like that sound.
It has a very heavy. It's a very heavy hit, but that's why it was such a popular office typewriter. It was because this downstrike, I read some marketing material years ago that Oliver put out to the businesses that said, hey, if you're doing a lot of carbon copies, the Oliver is the one for you because this will go through 15 carbons at the same time, which was like astounding or something like that. I mean, 9 or 10, I can't remember what it said, but when you type with it, it hits hard. Like if I got new rubber on this, I'm sure it would be just awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm not typing with 15 carbons. So yeah, it's pretty neat though. It's definitely weird because you got to think about it. It's got a 3-bank keyboard like a Corona or an Underwood 3-bank. So it's got the figure and the cap. So you really got to sort of stop and think of what you're pushing to get what you want out of it, because otherwise you're using a lot of this again.
Yeah.
Success.
Oh.
I finally got the 4 series apart. It took me all of 2 hours?
To get the shell off?
To get the shell off. I mean, I've never taken one off before, and there's all these little hidden screws, and then I had to break the gunk seal. Part of it was just I had to pull it apart and not be scared.
Just no, so the next one will only take half an hour.
Just so you know, you're going to want to make new little rubber grommets for those screws underneath. Otherwise, the body is going to rub against the shell when you put it back on.
Rubber grommets for the ones on the bottom.
Yeah, all the ones that you pulled out of the bottom that had little black bitty bits coming out of it. You're going to want to make new like pretty thin rubber washers to replace those.
Yeah, our hardware stores have lots of washers in different sizes and thicknesses. So I'm thinking about getting one of those big variety packs, you know, that has like whole bunches of different ones.
That'd be a good idea.
Like with typewriters, it's
party pack.
Yeah, party pack of four.
That'll save you some mysterious troubles later on.
Yeah.
Right now, it needs some rubber ducky time, but I don't know. With the glass keys, though, are these glass or are these plastic? Do you know?
Don't know. They're elastic.
They're plastic.
Is that like leather?
Yeah.
So Gregory, we were talking. You're talking earlier about colored typewriters, like blue typewriters. Someone mentioned earlier. Yes. Well, I have this two-tone yellow and maybe cream-colored electric, and I decided because the platen's hard, I needed a backing sheet of construction paper until I send the platen off to JJ Short. And I decided that I have to use yellow construction paper. That's the only color you can use with this machine is yellow construction paper. It doesn't even work with any other color. And I'm sitting here trying to decide what I want to write. I've already made my calendar for May. And I'm like sitting here just kind of like nothing's coming, but I'm enjoying listening to everybody. But I have paper in here ready to type and it's not happening right now. So
you know why? You need the typeface sunshine script on that machine.
Oh, the sunshine script typeface. Yes, you're right. But I did notice that my little paper scale right below on the bottom of the carriage wasn't perfectly lined up to the print position, so I had to adjust that. So at least I got something adjusted.
Something useful done. Yeah.
That's right.
I do have to say, I really, really enjoyed your video with Bill Teft.
Oh, yes, that was fun. You know, I love Bill. He's a great, he has so much knowledge. I don't know if you guys know, may not know his background, but he worked for a map company out of Southern California for decades. And he traveled the world, literally, collecting maps, physical maps from different countries and governments and government agencies. And for this map company to resell in the US. And he has all kinds of stories that sound like spy novel kind of stuff, going into third world countries, meeting up with, Ministry of the Interior people and getting maps and trying to get them through customs. And it's just fantastic story listening to him talk. But we do have a couple things in common. He was born and raised in Albuquerque like I was. And he worked, so when he was young, he discovered this store called Holman's. And Holman's was a store that originally started with drafting equipment. And back in the 70s, they soon started selling, these fantastic Hewlett-Packard calculators and all kinds of things like that. And when I was a kid in high school, I discovered Holman's as well. Well, it turns out that Bill later on worked for Holman's, right? So he has an interesting background. He currently works for a contractor that staffs the offices for the New Mexico Public Lands, or the Public Lands Office in New Mexico. And he works up in Santa Fe. But anyways, he's a great guy to talk with, but his mannerism in the way he speaks, I had to do a lot of editing, like to chop up and get rid of the gaps in the way he talks, because with a video, you kind of want the audio to be, kind of a continuous, you don't want a lot of blank space, right? So there's a lot of little edits that you have to do when you're editing that. But yeah, it was great fun. And he always has surprises when he comes over, but those two SG1s were a lot of fun to play with and review.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. You must have done a real nice job editing that video, because to me it seemed very natural, and I was kind of taken aback by how natural he seemed on the camera. Like he didn't seem nervous
Not Joe's first rodeo.
Yeah, and my friend Kevin also says, "You make me look so good." It's just mainly looking at the audio waveform and cutting out all the gaps.
Yeah.
And then trying to make the video so it doesn't look too choppy when you do that.
Yeah. Well, as always, you do a great job. So.
Oh, thanks. And I don't even know what video I'm doing this week, by the way. It's, I have a 3-day weekend and I don't know what I'm going to do for a video. Although, today is actually Worldwide Pinhole Photography Day. And I don't even have a camera loaded up with anything, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to go out and do anything today. But I might do something. I don't know. But
well, you can always do it tomorrow and just lie.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is I feel that if you're actually a real pinhole photographer, you would be doing it the other 364 days of the year. And you shouldn't have to have a special day for it, right? But anyways.
When was the last time you did a pinhole photograph?
Oh, it's been months. I'm sure it's been probably a quarter or a half a year. I have really slowed down in my photography, actually. It's been interesting. Most of my picture taking is with my phone for the purposes of a blog article or illustrating something on my blog. It hasn't been, anything else but that. So
that is still photography.
That is still photography. That's true.
Yeah.
So I was going through my old electronic stuff today, and I realized that I have an old iPad 2, the original iPad 2, remember, with the older style Apple connector. Mm-hmm. And so I decided that I'm going, and you notice it says hello, or, that's, or hola, but because I just wiped this whole iPad clean, because I'm gonna get $30 from Apple for turning in this 10-year-old tablet. But I decided I was going to buy an iPad mini because, when I'm sitting in bed wanting to surf the internet, my phone is a little too small, and I kind of like having a slightly bigger tablet, but nothing as big as a full-size iPad. So I just bought online. I bought an iPad mini, and I'm going to go pick it up this afternoon from the store down here. And then they were going to send me a box in the mail to ship this back and get my $30 credit. So
I wonder what in the world they would do with it.
I don't know. Maybe they sell it to third world countries.
They smash them up and landfill them.
They might. I mean, they could take the glass screen off or something. Oh, we could reuse this in the next one or something. Who knows what they do? Yeah. I do have a couple labels I need to take off here. I have I don't know what this is, a made in Italy sticker. Why the heck did I put that on there? And then I voted early sticker. So that was probably from years ago.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyways. So that's what's going on with me. Oh, Ted, you saw my mail time video, but I really like the flip video cameras. I used to use flip video cameras when I first got into YouTube. Mm-hmm. Maybe the first couple videos I made were with them. And I absolutely love these cameras because they're so simple. Mm-hmm. You have a screen on the back. You have a red button to start and stop the recording. It's fixed focus. There's no zooming. So it's real simple to use. And then you have real simple playback controls. And then if you open up the USB connector and stick it in a PC, it would automatically transfer this software onto the computer that would help you edit and upload the video, right? Mm-hmm. So it was all built into the camera. And I really love these things. But when Cisco Systems bought out Flip, they killed the camera.
Exactly. That's one of the last ones. It's a Cisco branded one.
Yeah. I think my original one was a 720p resolution, and the later one was a 1080p HD version. Mm-hmm. But I have a funny little story about this. So a friend of mine, Ed Dubovitz, who is he's an amateur script writer. He likes to write movie scripts. Well, he had written a movie script for a little sci-fi movie called Waiting for Gordo. And this is sort of like Waiting for Godot, but it was based on these two aliens that get dropped off in New Mexico. And anyways, and so we started filming this movie on a flip video camera. And the idea was to make a feature-length film shot on flip. And we actually got a couple actors, local actors. And the thing about it was the script was all dialogue. So they had to like memorize an incredible amount of text, of dialogue. And the kind of technology we're using to shoot the film on was just so poor.
So how did you do sound on the flip video?
Oh, what I did is I built a foam core enclosure box that the flip camera fit into. And the front of the box was like a tube, and it collected sound from the front.
Oh,
and then the back of it acted like a little sunshade, so you could see the screen of the camera and you wouldn't get bright sun. So you sort of have this big box with a couple handles on it. It was really lightweight, right? It just made out of foam core, but it would kind of make it bigger so it's more stable, and you could see the screen, and then it would make the sound more directional from the front. And it worked okay. Yeah. But that was so fun. So we were filming scenes up in the foothills of the Sandia Mountains, and we had it was funny. It was a lot of fun. But we never finished the movie because the script was just too wordy, And these actors weren't being paid anything. It was all just for fun. So it wasn't so fun anymore when they had to memorize all this dialogue. But speaking of filmmaking, when I was going to work this last week, I leave the house about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was driving up the street, and about a half mile up the street, there's a strip mall, and the parking lot was absolutely packed with all kinds of trucks and lights and big cherry pickers with lights on them and everything. And they were apparently filming for Better Call Saul, right? The TV series.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then I came back in the evening on the way home, and it was still going on. And then the next morning, when I left to go to work, it was still going on. And they had the cherry pickers that were up in the parking lot. They had water hoses spraying water down. So they were trying to simulate like rain, because New Mexico is so dry, we have to make fake rain somehow. But they had like the parking lot full of cars, and it was just, how a film set is. There's all kinds of, like security people and all these trucks, and, all this stuff is pretty interesting. So that was kind of fun to see.
I'm glad to hear that you like that little flip thing, because I
got
a few of them.
It was actually pretty ingenious just to use it as a thumb drive. That was pretty fun.
That's funny.
It's an 8 gig thumb drive right there.
Yeah. And there's a lot of interesting stuff you put on here in terms of audio files that I'm going to have to figure out how to import into the Apple ecosystem.
Uh-oh.
Maybe through, yeah, I know. I was actually thinking what I'll do is I'll just buy a little cheap $10 MP3 player.
Yeah, there you go.
And just transfer the files that way,
Or use your Android phone.
Yeah, I use my Android phone. I can use my work phone, actually. All right. Well, that's it for me, just about. Nothing typewriter related, except use a yellow backing sheet if you have yellow in typewriter,
Yeah.
Good advice.
Instead of calling it a thumb drive, would you then call it a hand drive?
Yes. Yes.
A switchblade drive.
A switchblade
drive. There you go.
I actually have, it's funny you mentioned it, I actually have a switchblade letter opener. It's technically a letter opener, but it's a switchblade knife that is unsharpened. These are the kind you get in Juarez, or Tijuana, right, in Mexico. It's actually one of these things, but I use it as a letter opener.
Yeah.
So don't mess with me, bro. I got a letter opener,
Oh man. I think those are actually illegal in California.
Yeah, they probably are. Yeah.
They're illegal federally.
Oh, yeah, they're federally. Yeah, you can't have those. Yeah. Okay. That's why they're letter openers, not knives.
Right.
It reminds me of was it Crocodile Dundee?
That's not life.
Yeah.
This is nice.
Oh man. Oh yeah.
Well, maybe I'll type something this afternoon. I actually have a whole stack of letters I still have to start getting caught up with. Because every time I get a batch of letters out in the mail, more people send me letters back, you know.
What a terrible life.
I know.
Yeah, I need to write some pen pals. Some of you guys actually. So I've been
I like getting mail, so that's
of course.
Now,
happy pinhole camera day.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. Yeah, you know, I got my ultra wide angle pinhole camera, and then I have this other one I built that was a round format. It shoots on a 5-inch square piece of paper, but it makes a round image. And I kind of like that one because the original, very first Kodak Brownie camera that came out in the late 1800s was made round images with a lens. And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. I like that look. So.
Excellent. Now, I have to ask Kelsey, and forgive me if you've already said this. I don't think you did, but do you have a favorite typewriter in your collection?
Oh, gosh, it
All
keeps
of them.
changing, to be honest. I mean, when I got the Royal 10, which actually, technically, it's a Royal rebuilt. Yeah, so the Regal rebuilt machine. So that one's pretty fun. I really do like typing on that one. But I do have the Olympia 9 right here, which is really nice too. I mean, it just depends on what I'm working on. Yeah, because I also like, and I've kind of named them all. So this is Cap. Short for Captain, because on the bottom it's Olympia, and then on the bottom it says State of Washington, and Olympia is the capital, so Cap.
Yeah.
And then my Smith Corona Silent that looks a little bit like yours, May.
Oh, yeah.
That one's Baby, because when I got it, it was really touchy and I had to baby it. So
you put Baby in the corner though.
I did. Oh goodness, terrible. Yeah, but I also have the Diana, which I really liked until I took it into Ace, and apparently Matt, the owner there, he's like, yeah, my dad wouldn't even work on Dianas. He's like, Holland, bleh. And I was like, oh, good. I kind of enjoyed it because it was the one that I could put paper in and roll it up, and I didn't have to move anything. It just rolled right into place. So I kind of like
it's a good machine.
Yeah,
I may not like it, but it's a good machine.
Yeah, I thought so. It the only problem with it, I feel like right after the Q every time it skips.
Oh.
Yeah, just that letter. So, but yeah.
Are you touch typing when you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I go kind of quick, so.
And you're right-handed? You're right-handed?
Mm-hmm.
That whole
Okay.
ASQD section can skip a lot if you.
Well, and
we're not going to blame the typist though.
And for some reason, when I try to do a capital on the Q, it sticks. Yeah.
Well, that you can just bend the type bar a little and form the type bar a little.
Form it. Okay.
And make it so it doesn't. You don't want it to touch the sides of that guide when it goes into the guide.
Okay.
Because if it does, even just a little bit of friction will stop it.
Yeah.
Ah. Okay. Yeah. I didn't.
There's a way that I've been able to test these machines, and is if you put the machine up on its back like this.
Yeah.
And with the bottom off, where you can access the universal bar that goes sideways across the key linkages. And if you press the individual key lever, and when you release it, it should flip back up on its own by its own spring tension. And if it gets stuck, you'll see that real easy. And what you want to do is release the universal bar, hold the universal bar out of the way, so you don't have the spring tension from the universal bar helping it. And you can see if it's sticking because of it needs to be degreased. It'll stick somewhere halfway up on the travel. But if it's like Ted says, if it's stuck down at the typing position in the type guide, you may need to slightly form it sideways so that it's centered in that guide and not rubbing on one side of it.
Okay. Yeah. I do have a question. I watched your video. Thank you very much about the Smith Corona, using Ted's book there, which I need to order. gave me the courage to go and buy I actually got an Alpine Blue that was not working. I was hoping it was just the tabs, that they didn't know what they're doing, but no. I actually ended up taking the star wheel out and adjusting everything. Yeah, it was, I just thought, but I got courage because, I thought, well, it wasn't very expensive. I'll just go in there and tackle it. And did the rubber ducky, May. got it real clean. Yeah, and actually Matt was saying that those silent supers, the reason they stick, I think somebody else was saying that too, that they got it all clean and then like a couple days later they were sticking again, which is why I gave it the bath with Dawn. And he did say if you can take the mainspring out, just because they don't like getting soaked and it's hard to dry those off. So I did do that. But now it seems to work. But again, after a couple days, it will start to stick. Do you have to put any lubricant in something like that, or should I just wash it again? Or
there are lubricating points, and with the typewriter repair Bible, it it shows some different places in most typewriters where you should lubricate.
Okay.
There are places to lubricate.
There are places that need to be lubricated, and I think with different brands throughout the years, those places are different. But I know you got to lubricate the little bearings and the carriage, and
as far as specifically the type bars, right, in the slots of the segment, generally, so usually
you don't do those.
Right. Usually when it starts to stick after you cleaned it for a while, the solution is you want to use something like lacquer thinner and spray it in there and then work the linkages very rapidly. And then you want to have an air compressor and immediately blow all that out. And what you want, the lacquer thinner will dissolve some of that gunk into the lacquer thinner and it'll be suspended in it. And then you want to blow it out of the machine immediately to get that gunk out with the lacquer thinner. And then you want to repeat the process several times. And if you've done it, do that several times with lacquer thinner, it'll probably fix it. But keep in mind that you have to protect any plastic or painted surfaces when you're using lacquer thinner. So make sure you cover everything up good before you do that, and use it do that in a well-ventilated place outside because it's pretty noxious.
I like this stuff. It's got a little nozzle that comes with it. I think it probably works the same. It's actually safe for plastic too, but I can't guarantee, of course. If you run your machine, it's not my fault. And then sometimes, like with the mainspring, like you said, after I do rubber ducky, you want to flush out the mainspring with some kind of solvent because, water can get in there. So that's what I use, one or the other. I think they work pretty much the same as far as cleaning metal and flushing out, chasing out water.
But as far as keys sticking, I would say that for her original question about key sticking, it's not only is it degreasing, but make sure that the type bars aren't sticking, like Ted said, at the typing guide. And so you can kind of tell based on where it's sticking at. If it's sticking halfway, through the travel of it, it's just the slots need to be degreased. But if it's sticking up at the typing point, then that's the type bars are a little bent and they're hanging up on there.
Yeah, it's doing both. It'll both. Yeah, like I'll type and then it'll just super slow coming back down.
Okay, that sounds like now the thing with some of these is it's not just like with the Smith Corona silent super, that 5 series. It's not just the slots in the segment that I've seen, but if you look at the way the linkages are, there's other little. They look like segments, but it's part of the linkages where they're really close together. They go in little slots. What I find works is you want to identify which individual key it is that's sticking is the first thing, right? Make a list of all the ones that are sticking, and then hit each one of those in those other little links, those other little slots further back. Hit it with some alcohol. And if you hit it with if you wet it with alcohol and then the sticking goes away, that's the joint that's sticky. So you might have to degrease it with lacquer thinner or whatever at these at these other places besides
underneath. Yeah.
underneath.
Yeah.
There's like at least, a few different places where
right.
each key,
exactly.
moves.
Okay.
Metal into metal in a slot.
Metal to metal, right.
When you get dirt and gunk and old oil that oxidizes, it stops the movement of the typewriter. So you have to clean with a safe cleaner, obviously. But that's, for me, for the most part, cleaning a typewriter fixes most of the problems, as far as the operations. It's the gunk.
And then once you have the sticky slots and all that fixed, then you can go after the ones that stick right up at the printing point. And the way you can tell that is if you move the type bar, like you press the key and the type bar starts to move, and then take your finger and push the type bar slowly up to the print position, but use the base of the type bar. You push it up on the base of it. And then you want to just kind of feel if it's rubbing into the side of the type guide. And you can kind of move it side to side and see if it's centered in the type guide. If it's centered in the type guide, you'll have equal amounts of play on both sides when it's in there. But if you don't have play on one side and you do on the other, that means it's rubbing on that one side.
Okay.
Yeah, you can kind of feel it when you touch it manually. If it's scraping and it's hard to push in and out, then it's misaligned. You just need to bend it.
And you might actually notice an alignment issue, because sometimes what will happen is if it's hitting on one side of the type guide, it's sliding sideways as it's going in, and it'll sometimes make the character print with a smearing effect if it's moving sideways as it's going in, or it'll be a little bit misaligned. So a little bit of careful forming can usually correct that so it goes right in the middle of that slot.
And careful is the key word.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. I actually had that problem with the Olivetti that I just got. And all the, there's a couple other keys that were sticking, and I flushed out the segment and that fixed 2 of them. But then I noticed that the P was still sticking. And that's the problem that it was just rubbing up against the type guide and getting kind of caught in there. So I had to kind of twist it and form it a little bit until it's still kind of sticking in there, but it's not as much of a problem as it was. It's not sticking every time, and I don't have to pick it out every time I use the P.
So one thing I notice sometimes when you're reforming these type bars, if you bend it a little bit near the base where the hinge is, you're gonna, like if I'm pushing toward your right, let's say, that's going to make the type slug lean slightly to the right and won't be straight. So what you want to do is further up on the type bar, bend it back to the left. So you're going to make a little S curve in it. So you're moving the whole thing over, but you want to make the type element, so the type face, so it's still straight up and down. You don't want to make it cockeyed or slanted. Right? So you're kind of doing a bend down here and a counter bend up here to straighten it back out. So it goes right in the middle of the type guide straight.
Excellent. All right. Hi, Mike D. How are you?
Hey, Mike D.
I'm fine.
It's a Beastie Boys rapper name.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, I was trying to put my full name in there. I couldn't find the settings, so anyway, I'll do it next. Anyway, how's everybody doing? I'm doing fine here.
Good.
I'm trying to do the typing prompt.
It's okay. It's not a big deal.
And no, it's getting to be an epic, so I'll have it done in a few minutes.
Now, did you do your archery?
Yes, I did.
Excellent. How did that go?
It went well. What this is, well, I'm in the SCA, which is Society for Creative Anachronism, Medieval Recreation Group. And so we have a local group here, and archery is one of the things we do. I mean, there's also people that do sort of armored combat and fencing and artistic things and stuff like that. But archery is one of the things I do. So Sunday mornings are archery practice, and it ends up just being 2 of us there half the time because we're having trouble getting more people to come out for archery and stay out there for keep coming over and over. But anyway, it's fun. It's a good practice. We're not having many competitions these days because everything's shut down, but we're still able to have practice. So
Do you participate in like Renaissance fairs or anything like that?
Well, those are a little different, but we have our own events that we have where everybody gets in garb and comes out and does whatever it is they do. You know, they'll have armored fighting competitions and fencing and all kinds of arts and sciences things that they do, and archery. You know, one of the things I've done is
Mike, I got to tell you that's really cool. I know my father was very involved with the group of creative acronisms here in Southern California, and there was nothing more satisfying in my life than putting on chainmail, grabbing a big sword, seeing my little brother dressed the same, and us just going at each other like there's no tomorrow. Phenomenal.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. I'm a little beyond that at this point, but you know, I haven't done that in a while. But you know, it was fun while I did it.
Yeah. Excellent. I think I mentioned last week that archery was, you know, an interest of mine in my youth. I had, I guess it would be described as a longbow, although it was clearly intended for a child. And at the time we had this. It was kind of near the college, and it was just this field they had to track and everything, and they actually had bays of hail set up for doing archery, so that was excellent.
Yeah. So we have a municipal range that we use, which is
okay.
You know, that works well for us.
Yeah. So there I was with my little longbow, and this guy comes with one of those compound bows, you know, and
yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, we don't use those. Although there's people on the range that'll, you know, see out there using those. So.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah, excellent. Any new typewriters or anything like that?
There's no new typewriter. I've got a couple accessories, which I don't know if I see or not, but I've got a
typewriter adjacent.
A typing table here. Little typing cart.
Royal.
Oh, very nice.
Love the FP.
Yeah, the Royal I had last week, but I got this cart because I cleaned off my my roll top desk and didn't have room. The Royal doesn't fit in there. So,
yeah.
So I got this cart, and I got this. I don't know if you can see it or not. Nice little antique desk lamp, which kind of bright, but you can't. You know, to go on the desk. So, and then of course I've got the Smith Corona on there, which really looks nice there. Kind of.
Oh yeah.
I've got one just like it. Love it.
Yeah, that machine. Every time I get it out, I always wonder why I bought any more machines.
Very good.
Yeah. So I should be done with this prompt in about 5 minutes, I think.
Okay. Excellent. Just let us know.
Yeah. Okay.
And William, how are you?
Doing very well. How about yourself there?
Very good. Yeah.
Okay. We're kind of late joining because my wife had to do announcements in church this morning. And she started it down. Well, down here it is snowing.
Oh, wow.
The ground wet. There was probably 2 inches of snow in the car this morning. And so she started the announcements by saying, "Oh, the weather outside is frightful." Got the whole congregation laughing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, so
anything new in your world? Any typewriters or?
I got a it's a rebranded Brother. Hang on, I'll just go get it.
Okay.
Yes, go get it, guys.
Please stand by.
You're not allowed to talk about typewriters unless you show them. Yeah, and new typewriters, acquired typewriters. Right.
Yeah.
We can talk about others.
Not everybody can be like May, where her typewriters are within 6 feet of her, every one of them.
I know.
Exactly. Where else am I going to put them? Right.
Yeah.
I was going to say William needs to borrow Joe's little fancy "Be Right Back" sign.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So that was one of these plastic straws to a dusting can. And then I have this little, the sign, and I taped it to the lens hood of my camera. So it sticks it out far enough where I can manually focus it.
That is funny.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. The ingenuity in this group, I tell you. Oh, yeah. Very good. And it was fun earlier. I took mental note of we had both May and Sean wearing their headlamps, and it just it crossed my mind that it should be a requirement that we all wear headlamps. But
one day, yes, or the magnifying glasses.
I don't own a headlamp.
Well, so we all have to
get
you one.
Yeah, get you.
It's going to be a requirement.
Camping area of I can't remember what store. There's a sporting goods store. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
That's originally what I bought it for.
Eric has one. Very good.
Yeah.
A miners. It's an old miner's light, right?
Yeah.
And these are nice because they're rechargeable, so you don't have to worry about changing batteries.
Yeah. All right. So you have it, William?
Yes, I do.
Excellent.
There you go. It's called Bradford.
Oh, nice. Brothers.
And
a brother. Looks like a brother.
Looks like the Wizards and the like the one you have, Joe.
And the serial number says it's June of 1964.
Oh, earlier.
That's one thing about the brother serial numbers is that just by the serial number you can date the machine to the month and the year.
Wow, that's handy.
Month and the year, as long as you know the general, decade of the model. Yeah,
that's
you recycle every 10 years.
And this having the pop-up page support says that it's pre-70. Yeah. So it's obviously the serial number being F4440257 says it's June of 64. And the rest of the numbers are just these sequential numbers. The platinum checks out at about a Shaw 96, which is a little hard, but it should still respond to some rubber rejuvenator.
2 sheets of paper.
Yeah, I'll look at giving this a clean up probably later on this summer when things are warmer.
Yeah. So we do have Sarah Van Allen in the comments on YouTube.
Hey, Sarah, we've missed you.
Oh, Sarah.
She says, good morning, watching and listening. Probably won't join today because I have family visiting, but I'll try for next week. I've got some new machines to share next time. Excellent.
Yeah.
Tell Sarah that family, they can wait. Typewriter Club is priority on Sundays.
We're family too. Typewriter family is family.
Yes.
And then we also have Christy Cohn says, hello, everyone. Quick question. I have a 1938 Underwood portable 4-bank and am replacing the ribbon vibrator, but never did before. Any helpful suggestions?
No.
Why? I guess the first question is, why are you replacing it? Because sometimes it's just not a matter of you need to replace it. It needs to be formed or adjusted, or there's a deeper problem or issue that might be causing it.
Unless it's broken. Yeah, if it's broken.
Yeah, pretty much.
That would be the only reason to replace it.
Sometimes it's easy to jump to wanting to replace something right away when actually it's something else farther down the old skeleton structure of the typewriter that might be. Trust me, I made that mistake and replaced stuff and found out later, I could have just done this and it would have solved it.
Taking stuff apart you didn't need to.
Yeah, exactly. You make it more complex in your mind. You go, God, it's a complex machine. Therefore, I got to really do a complex fix on this. And then I end up screwing up more stuff and causing hours of repairs.
Yeah. Go ahead.
That reminds me of one customer who was at his wit's end on a John Deere 110. He had replaced the ignition coil, the stator, the voltage regulator, and probably about $500 worth of parts. He finally brought it to me in frustration. I looked at it, cleaned the points, away it went.
Points.
Yeah, and he swore up and down the machine did not have points. I said, if it's a original engine, it has to have points. He finally brought it in. I said, here's the points, remove the cover, clean them, we went.
Wow.
He went away rather annoyed himself.
Yeah.
And
Well, appreciative.
I believe it was Doogie Howser who said, if you see hoof prints, don't go looking for a zebra.
Excellent. And then Chrissy also says, just curious how to remove the carriage, if that's the best way to reach it. The front access seems impossible.
Reach what?
The ribbon vibrator.
The vibrator.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
And Underwood?
Yes.
Did she say what year was 38?
38, yeah.
Yeah, so it's okay.
Yeah, I have another Royal that's got a sticky rubber or vibrator, which is really hard to get to. So.
Oh, okay.
Among other issues, but yeah.
Yeah. All righty. Let's see here. I think we're caught up on the YouTube comments. Yeah, does anyone else have any questions or comments or things they want to show? Oh, yes, it might be yes, your prompt.
Yeah, I hope this isn't too long. Or some of the other ones are too short. It's, sort of I can think of a situation, but finding the action in there is hard. Okay. I opened my mouth and the words just came out. As soon as I heard that familiar voice, I instantly regretted it. It all started after a long day on the road. My old truck has so many holes in the floorboard that it never really gets warmed up. Then this big black car tried to cut me off as I changed lanes. It stayed on my tail for a couple of miles, and I thought there would be trouble until it zoomed off. Finally, I saw the familiar lights of my favorite roadside canteen pulled in, just as the first flakes started to fall. Inside, I ordered a coffee and burger and settled down trying to warm up. Just as the coffee was poured, I heard a gruff voice saying, "Hi, cowboy, somebody wants to talk to you." Without thinking, I heard myself say, "I don't care who it is, tell him to get lost." Suddenly, the clatter in the room stopped. Almost in a whisper, a softer voice said, "Well, if that's the way he wants it, I'll just leave." I turned to see her walk out the door, and I knew I was in trouble. I jumped up, nearly upending my coffee, and raced towards the door. I caught up with her just as she reached her car. "Jessica, what are you doing here?" She turned. I couldn't tell if there were tears in her eyes or just a strange snowflake. In a hurt voice, she murmured, "Well, if you don't want to talk to me, I understand." No, I thought it was trouble. I didn't realize it was you." "Well, you always said you thought I was trouble." Now I was the one in trouble. After an awkward pause, I murmured, "Let's start again. It's been too long. How have you been? I forgot you settled here." With that, she threw her arms around me and started to cry. "Oh, Joe, you have no idea what I've gone through." Then I knew I was in trouble.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
Well done.
Very good.
Quite much fiction.
Very good.
Very good. All right.
Trouble over.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else? Any other things to share or show or questions?
I have one little thing to share.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
Something for Sean. Our Lucas Dole, he sells stuff, and I.
Oh yeah.
Oliver pencils from him, and I haven't opened them yet because
that's neat.
I want to keep them new, but I just thought it was just this neat little thing. Of course, he has these little squid stickers that he puts in everything, octopus and squid, but it's just so neat to have these, little vintage little things that go with. So if you're looking for accessories for your Oliver, Sean.
Yeah.
I think that's an excellent idea.
Yeah, has these pencils. They're so
Let me
cute.
add you to the.
Now I need an Oliver to go with these pencils.
Well, yeah.
That's
So
what's going on.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Now,
Oh, you got some too, yeah.
well, I couldn't resist. So like I live in Canada,
Yeah.
so our dollars, the exchange rate kills us up here in Canada. The shipping kills us. So what turns out to be like a $10 pack of pencils ends up costing like $30. But I'm obviously not very good with my money because I was like, well, I don't care. I want to put a pencil that says
You want
Oliver
the
on
original Oliver pencil, yeah.
So I'm not the smartest, I guess, but at least I got the little box. And yeah, unfortunately, this one's missing that little. These are commonly missing on Oliver's. Like my other one's got it.
Yeah.
So I got the pencil in my other one, but this one doesn't have it. But I realized it's just a little like metal circle with a shaft, and it would go in here and then screw in. So I could figure something out.
You probably could, yeah.
I got pencils.
Yeah, maybe take something off of a pen, you know, the pens that have the little.
Yeah, I got to give it some thought.
The metal clips, and then give it some thought. I bet you can figure it out. I bet.
If anybody comes across a really trashy Oliver that's got that, I'll pay you for it. Because obviously I'll buy these things. So hey,
the pencil holder on those Olivers looks to me like. Do you remember the old school compasses for drawing circles?
Yeah,
they had the screw that went in the side to hold the pencil.
You
hold the pencil,
right, Bill. They will be very similar, probably. So
yeah, so it may be worth investigating.
There you go.
Why do I come to these on Sundays? I just got more work coming out of it.
Now, what does the pencil do in the machine? Does it work? Draw lines or something?
So when this pencil's on here, what happens is let me get this little unit here comes down, and there's a little holder on here, so you stick your pencil in, and then when it goes down on top, let's do this. When it goes down on top, you can do lines.
Oh,
and then,
oh yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, am I getting it?
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it works like a compass pencil, but straight lines instead of circles.
It's like a little ruler, so you can do forms and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So it's the equivalent of the holes in the plastic paper guides.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I think it's great that it doesn't matter if we're American or Canadian. There's an Englishman who lives in Canada now who keeps schooling us on these things. Thank you, William.
All of us poor colonials.
Yep.
So collective knowledge is what keeps them going.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, it's how to say it's applying life experience mixed with knowledge gives you wisdom to be able to figure out problems. Is that close?
Sure.
Sounds good. Yeah. Sounds
good.
Sounds like sage advice. Yes.
Yes.
It takes a long time to get it, but when you do, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And I've heard it said that wisdom is not an attribute you can give to yourself. Other people have to bestow it upon you.
That's why I hang around here.
Yeah, you have to be good. You have to be good for something to be wise, right? Other people have to let you know that.
Excellent.
Yeah, because if we have useless knowledge, then is it wisdom?
No.
Oh, we got lots of useless knowledge.
Then it's just facts, It's facts and wisdom are two different things.
If I got paid for all my useless knowledge, I'd be rich. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Now, I do want to ask Curry. You just started your business, but have you had any kind of a response yet?
Just getting started with when you create the website and stuff, then you got to figure out all the Facebook marketing and how am I going to do the marketing and getting the word out. So starting to get some traction on visitors to the website, but I think it's like a numbers game, right? You get so many people to the website before you'll actually end up with a sale.
Yeah.
So I have had my first sale from a monk that's no longer on the call, but so I was like, oh, it's all excited. Yeah. First. But
So it's only been a few days, right? Or about a week or two
It's only
since you
been like
started?
2 or 3 days that I've had it.
Yeah, well, congratulations.
Yeah.
Hey, Curry, do some unashamed marketing and send me your links and all that, and I'll push it out as if I'm some new customer. And it's like, oh my God, I just discovered this awesome guy. He's got great stuff, and I'll help you out.
Yeah, thanks.
And
But,
I know earlier you
sort of thinking about the whole T-shirt thing for a while.
Yeah.
So she's got like a whole bunch of ideas that other stuff not typewriter related. So that's going to kind of be our next thing, is develop that. But yeah, just to sort of coming up with some ideas for the T-shirts and the stickers, but then at the same time, sort of start working on the getting typewriters cleaned and fixed up and offered for sale on the website. So right now I only got one on there. But and then getting the word out that I can do the repairs and stuff. So I have actually done one paid repair for a sort of family friend, and that was like kind of what got me thinking, like, hey, like this is like the first money that I've made on my own since being let go from my job last July. So I'm like, there got to be something to this, like.
Yeah.
Screenshotting things for ideas, and I'm telling, write this down. Coming your way through the husband. The ideas person, but he's the creative muscle. He can sit and focus and do it all. My job's supposed to be creative, but no. I mean, who wouldn't want to have a T-shirt with a pretty hen on it? And your coffee or something. I don't know.
T-shirts with typewriters and typewriter logos always sell with me. So hey, you make them, I'll buy them.
Cool. Well, Sean, I was asking about your letterhead that you have in the Oliver there. Is that something that you created on your own or sort of remastered it from something?
Yeah. So years ago, I realized I really wanted to add to my whole typewriter game by using original letterhead. But the reality was finding blank copies of letterhead from the 20s and 30s and 40s is tough. And I feel really guilty using that letterhead because it's lasted so long without anything on it. So eventually I found a graphic designer lady here in Calgary, and we created a relationship, just, business letterhead relationship. And so I buy these things off of eBay, old letters, and I bring them to her when I get them in the mail, and then I say, recreate this, and she does it, and then I can get all the copies I want without the guilt of ruining original letterhead. So I put the original stuff away in a file, and then I just go and get copies when I need them. So what I'm doing now, my thing is all the typewriter brands, I'm getting the letterhead together. So I just got my Oliver letterhead, so which is why I've got the Olivers out. But Smith Coronas, waiting for my Underwood letterhead right now, and IBM letterhead. I'm waiting for an IBM letterhead, even though I don't have an IBM yet. But you will sort of buy the ammo. Yeah, you buy the ammo before you get the gun sometimes. Just the way it works. Yeah.
That's why I got the pencils.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You'll get the Oliver now. See?
Yeah, I get the Oliver someday.
Yeah.
I've actually noticed that blank letterheads or even used letterheads on eBay go for quite a bit of money.
Yeah. So that's a good point. I've noticed like the Underwood letterhead. If you go and type in Underwood typewriter letterhead on eBay right now, you'll get a range of them, probably about 4 on there right now. One of them is $245 US. Wow. And that's, no offense to the seller, but if he can get somebody to pay that good on them, but that's way too expensive. So the one I bought was $5.99. And it was from, the New York office, which is the headquarters. And that, it's what they should be, right? It's a typed on letter saying, hey, please fix your accounts with us and remit $10.12 for the rental of your Underwood number 5. A pretty boring letter, but neat just because it's 100 years old. But it's the same as the guy selling it for $245, and I'm just going to recreate it anyway. So, the only thing different on Underwood letterhead is every year they won something, they would add the medal that they won, and the list just kept getting longer and longer until eventually I think they realized, well, maybe we should shorten this up again.
Yeah, because collecting letterheads was a very, very brief interest of mine that never came to fruition because I did see that they were going for a lot of money. I was like, wow, this would be an expensive hobby, actually. Even
Yep.
worse than collecting typewriters.
Well, if you're gonna pay $245, then yeah, that's a
Yeah.
little expensive. But I still find a lot of good deals on letterhead.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I could resell the originals now, if I wanted, because I got
That's
the
true.
copies, and that's really
Yeah.
okay for me. Yeah, I just wanted to put some use to it, right? No use collecting paper just to sit around when you can type on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you have there, William?
Well, my local saddle maker, we've now got the pattern down correct. New handles for the Remington cases. I'll start putting these on my Etsy store, or at least maybe put a couple and ask people to message me if they are interested, and we'll go from there. See what happens.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Excellent.
I see. There'll be $20 Canadian a piece plus shipping.
Oh, that's great. That'll be $5 US then with the
What are
exchange.
they?
You guys are winning.
What are they? I missed it. I'm sorry.
Oh, she wants to see the handles again.
Okay, yes. There's one.
Oh,
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, that is.
And they're made from harness leather. Local saddle maker says that he can probably make quite a few of these, as he can cut most of them from scraps. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He just made a whole set of gun holsters and just made 3 pairs of chaps. So now he's got a whole bunch of leather left over. So he says that it's more the time than the material. And it's got the plain stitching on the one side and the original gold color stitching on the other side.
Ah.
And so, yeah, so.
Very nice.
I picked up something off of eBay recently. Samples of superior quality typewriter papers from Smith Premier.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh.
What do the papers look like? Sorry, I sounded excited there, but
No, that's all right.
Ow.
oh wow,
nice.
So they have all the different weights and styles and sizes in there, I guess.
Yeah,
Little
Premier
small
linen.
sample sheet.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, isn't that cute?
Let's see, that's number 2. That's number 3 laid. I can't tell the difference other than just the fact that, I mean, you know, it all kind of looks the same. SPT bond.
Oh wow.
And it's like a whole little booklet of these things.
That's
And
really cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
yeah, I was kind of on a Smith Premier buying binge here lately for some reason or other.
No.
We don't know why.
None of us suffer that problem.
No, but you're talking about the headers, and it's like this is the what's on the book, the cover, the bit up here. That's usually what I see on the letterhead.
Yeah,
is all that. Obviously not the branch offices, but yeah, that would be something I think would be neat to get on a I don't know, just a piece of paper I could use.
Yeah.
Because I think I bought something some letter or other recently, and I have to cat proof, so that means I have to put things away or hide them. Which means it's away in a drawer, and I'm not sure which drawer at the moment. But yeah, that would be neat to have. I'd love to write a letter to somebody with Smith Premier letterhead.
Yeah, no, it adds to the whole enjoyment, I think, for at least for me. I felt it wasn't just enough to type on a white piece of paper. I wanted to add some color and context to everything.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, it spirals out of control, like my typewriter problem or habit. Sorry. And yeah, like May, what are you working on? You're working on a Sterling, are you?
I'm working on a Corona Sterling. Yes, I'm just getting
so-
it cleaned up. Just learning how to take it apart is really what I'm doing. Like slowly taking it apart so I can clean it thoroughly, you know, and all the. And I
So
can't
I-
figure out how to get the paper tray, the feed roller paper
Yes.
tray out. It's stuck.
Is
I
it
got a letter
screwed on
from
the
Sean
bottom?
There
typewriter paper
is,
too.
but it's a pin. It doesn't unscrew or.
No, but
it
is there a
looks like
screw
it's-
holding it on one end?
No, there's two little pins that
Uh-huh.
hold it down into little
Nice.
holes. But in
Yeah.
order to lift it up, this the line spacer thing is in the way, and I can't lift it up without moving that out of the way. So I'm trying to figure out how to take it out without disassembling any more than I have to. So I'll get there. It's just takes time. You know, it's my first.
We're all
series.
watching you. That's probably
You're
what's
watching
causing
me.
it to go out.
It's my first
So-
tour series, so you know.
So May, there is a screw on the right-hand end of the paper trough that has to come off from the bottom.
Yeah,
You
I
have to
got
slide
the
carriage
screws
to the
out.
right.
The screws are out and it's loose, but there's these pins that
Yes,
lock
yes.
down. I don't know if you can
Yep.
see that hold it
Yeah,
in the
I-
carriage. But in order to lift
Yeah,
this pin out, I have to move the line spacer out of the way because it
The
won't
trick
lift
for that
up.
is to lift the right-hand end of the paper trough or paper tray up and just wiggle it back and
Kinda
forth, and it will
slide it out.
pop out. They are a little bit tight.
Yeah, they are.
Sometimes you have to flex the trough just a little bit.
Ooh, see, I don't
but
want to
they
bend.
will.
But they will come out, huh? Scary, right? Dun, dun, dun. But
It
that's
will
the
come
thing
out.
is, yeah, it's like one of those puzzles where you have to like, you know, move
Yep,
the
mental
metal
puzzle.
parts and rings just right, and then it slides apart. It's like one of those.
You have to hold your mouth right and face the same direction as the bath does.
Exactly.
I saw one of those in a antique mall, but it was a rusty mess and they wanted too much for it. So I passed it up.
The older they are, the fewer they are, I guess. Huh?
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Oh, I said this was old, but it like was missing a flat knob and the carriage, wasn't moving. So it was rusty all over. So it just had more than I wanted to mess with. It was cheap, of course I would have bought it,
Yeah.
So before we wrap up here, in the YouTube comments, we have a Clear Relic 24 asking what typewriter to buy for a first. He meant to say first. He or she meant to say first.
Typewriter. Yeah.
My basic opinion is the one that you can afford.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't account for the history of the particular typewriter you're looking at. So if I told you a Smith Corona Silent Super is the typewriter to get for a first, that doesn't account for the fact that it could have been absolutely just abused and thrashed in its life. And then when you get it, you're going to think that I'm just full of it. And you're going to go, it's the worst typewriter ever. The other thing is your first typewriter reintroduces you or introduces you to typing, and you don't really know your style yet or how you type, or you don't have a feel for typewriters yet. And as you buy more, yes, I'm encouraging more purchases of typewriters. You develop your style and you develop your feel, and then you'll go back to early typewriters you had that you thought were good, and you'll be like, well, you know what? That's not really a good typewriter. And then you might sell it on. But as your sense develops, you get better at it, and then you find new things in your typewriters that you enjoy. So a good typewriter, I think I agree with you, Gregory. It's a good typewriter that your first typewriter is the one that works and you can enjoy just typing.
It depends on what you want the typewriter for, because if you want to just sit down and start writing immediately, I would recommend getting one from a typewriter person that's been refurbished and ready to go. But if you're like me and you just want to buy old stuff and figure out how it works, then just
anything.
buy anything and figure it out. So it really just depends on what you want to do with the whole process initially. So
exactly.
Your geographical location also has a lot to do with what is going to be available. Like if you are in England and looking for a Smith Corona 5 series, you're going to have better luck. But if you're looking for a good companion, there's lots of them. Over here, you look for a good companion 4 or a good companion 5. They're rare as hen's teeth. But you find them in flea markets in England all over the place. Whereas over here, you'll find Underwoods, Smith Coronas, Royals.
Royals,
yeah.
Brother typewriters. I mean, I would recommend for a good first typewriter, if you want one that works and kind of easy to work on, easy to clean and hard to break, and just to kind of mess around with typewriter.
Agree.
Yeah.
They're very common, around here anyway. I don't know, like you said, location matters, but just find one for 40, 50 bucks. It's not too, and figure it out. Or, buy one from Curry or, buy one from a typewriter person, someone that fixes them and gets them ready for, a writer. So
yeah,
you're going to pay more, of course, but then you don't have to do all that work. And
I would also suggest that it would be beneficial to, for your first typewriter, to be one that you purchase in person as opposed to online.
Yeah,
just
you
so
can
that
try
you
it
can
out first.
try it and feel it, and
Mhm.
as opposed to online. I mean, that'd be like a shot in the dark,
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
But again, that's location. Do you have someone
exactly, yes,
around you that knows, typewriters that can show you how it works? And
yeah,
some people pull them out of, grandma's basement and they have no idea what they have. They just want to get rid of it. So
yeah,
and if you don't know anything about typewriters and you're buying something that nobody knows about, then how that's what we're for. The typewriter groups, the typosphere monk.
yes,
If you want typewriters, do research and learn about them.
yep,
I think that's the best advice. Is we have to be our own typewriter repair people to some extent, depending on where we are. So
yeah.
learn. Buy a whole bunch of them. Try them all out.
That's the only way
Get
you'll
all
really
the typewriters. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Does anyone have any last comments or questions? Or William, were you going to say something?
My first experience on a typewriter, apart from I reckon my mum's, was on an old Underwood, and I tried working with that machine, didn't like it. I realized now, had I been given the use of a Smith Corona, it would have been different, because the machine handles differently, behaves differently. And but as I say, depends on your geographical location.
That's very true. Very true.
Olivetti's are, generally speaking, a fairly solid, reliable typewriter if you are in the European area.
Yeah. Yeah. All righty. Anything else, anyone?
I just want to say thanks to everybody. This is always a joy for me to come here every week. So have a good week.
Typewriter church every Sunday.
One too, and I like being here every weekend. I love it, shipping with everyone and as well.
And good luck to you tomorrow, Natasha.
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to receiving my copy. So yeah.
And Eric, I have a letter in the typewriter to you at the moment. I'm on page 4 and still not finished, but I'll keep going.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
A nice long one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. It's always a pleasure. And
thank you.
Thank you, Gregory.
Yeah,
thanks, Greg.
Take care.
Yeah, it's the best thing that happened since typewriters in a long time.
Oh.
All right. See you next week. Bye.